Hey, how's it going, everybody? Zimzilla back again once again for the second of 3 streams this week. And yes, we will be doing another video SOS on speed today, deep speed. But we'll also be doing a few other things. In particular, we're going to look at the Ultraman Rising trailer and give our thoughts about that. Plus, what I'm going to also try to do is I'm going to look for the MonsterVerse directors, like little panel that they all did together, because we only did a little bit of that. So I'm going to be curious to see if I can find the whole thing on YouTube. And if I can't find it all here on YouTube, then we're going to try to do that. So let us see. In the meantime, while I'm looking for that, how's everyone doing tonight? Servers and monsters, directors. See if I can find it. Yeah, it's the round table that's right here. Okay. That's only one part. So yeah, it's this right here. Okay. Okay, so at least I found that, so that's good. And so stop that there. Ultraman Rising, found the trailer for that. That one we're probably gonna have to stop a whole lot. So put that there, and then third video is the Redefined monster video. Oh, a bunch of you showed up too. I'm literally on the other screen. I cannot see what was going on in the chat. So, hello, Minecraft world. Joe Smo, good to see you. And of course, the Sea Monster essays. It's gonna be fun. Been playing the new Gigabash DLC. I have not bought it yet. I am probably gonna buy it not tomorrow, Sunday. I'm gonna try to buy it Sunday. Because I may not have time to play it Sunday, or either I may not have time to play it tomorrow or Sunday, but at least want to support it. But right now, like, the big dream is that if I keep getting super chats and stuff, and I keep getting a little bit of support here and there, I can put that into getting a better PC. And once I get a better PC, I'm gonna not only just invest in getting dual monitors, I'm also going to probably rebuy a lot of the games that I have on my consoles. So Dawn of the Monsters I got on my PS5, and I also have it on my Switch. And then I have Gigabash solely on my PS5. So what I will probably end up doing is, once the PC's all built, I'm going to rebuy Gigabash. I'm going to buy all the DLCs. We're going to rebuy Dawn of the Monsters, all its DLCs. And I'm going to start probably doing some video game streams as well. And since I have the dual monitors, I'm not going to have to worry about things being off my screen and having to fiddle around as much. So yeah, if you do either use like the affiliate link I have for Havoc Energy, or if you just do super chats, anything to do to help support the channel, that goes towards just buying more equipment and things of that nature. But what I did say was that I would be opening up everything a little bit earlier, because we're going to do the MonsterVerse Roundtable, and we're also going to do the Ultraman Rising trailer. So what I will do is I will share that now for everyone. So if you are in the Discord, we will see that there for you guys to join. If you are not in the Discord, I will send you a link across all the pages where you can see me, and if you want to join the Discord, you can, and from there you'll be able to join. So Discord, support, copy, paste. So yeah, there we go. So always, if you are new and you haven't joined the Discord, feel free to do so. But while we do that, we also just going to be waiting for people to join before we get into this fun shenanigans that we have. So what I actually kind of want to do, at least do a little test, is I may boot up at least one game and see how it runs. And if it doesn't run too well, then I'm just going to say no to that. Well, the question is, what would I end up loading? Because almost everything that I have that I could at least load up is more on the pretty technical and hard side. But actually, I don't even have to worry about doing that because there's someone already in here. It is the Sea Monsters Essays. How it going, sir?
Doing pretty well. Yeah, yep, it's me again, folks.
As always, can't go wrong with a Sea Monsters moment.
Yeah. Considering how late it is where we are right now, I'm not entirely sure how long I'll stick around. I'll try to stick around for at least a little bit, for around until after midnight at least.
Yeah, well, regardless, I appreciate it all the same.
Yeah.
But while we actually wait for a few more people to join in, I'm gonna go on Twitter because I want to share something that I just saw there that I bookmarked because it's actually pretty interesting in regards to one of the abilities that they gave Ghidorah for the Gigabash DLC. Which, have you been playing that Sea Monsters or no?
No, I don't have Gigabash. So what's the general price range for that? Just
since I have Steam opened, I think it's the same across Steam and
console.
I think it's the same across Steam and PlayStation. Yeah. Well, it's only on PlayStation and PC. Gigabash. It's $24.99 on its own, and then $9.99 for the Ultraman and Godzilla DLCs, and then $5.99 for the Nemesis DLC.
Oh, so the Ultraman and Godzilla DLCs are like two separate DLCs, or
yeah, the first Ultraman DLC is one of its own, and the Godzilla DLC is one of its own. And you can grab the whole thing on its own or what's it called? The whole thing together with all the DLCs is one thing for $50.96 on Steam.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely want to try to get around to that because definitely would do that for the Godzilla DLC.
Yeah, because I mean, it's crazy to think that now you've essentially got a small roster of just Godzilla monsters in a small party game, which is cool. Plus, it's this is the second time ever in a big console generation release that we actually get to play as Hedorah, because the only other time in recent years was the Godzilla PS4 game that obviously isn't a thing anymore.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, it's and whatever it is out there,
you would just too. Thank you, Joe Schmo.
Yeah, you would just pay hundreds of dollars for it on eBay, pretty much, just for a used copy.
Yeah, and then anywhere else you find it is also super expensive if you find it in person in the wild. And we also got the World of Minecraft.
Hello.
How's it going, man?
Gigabash talk. Good. I just got back from my first shift of my second job, so that went well.
There you go.
All
the way true to Kaisar?
Yeah.
I want to try to get around to getting Gigabash. Yeah, I want to try to get around to getting it. It's just that I haven't had the time lately for video games, but I'll try to get back into it.
It's really freaking good. While I'm still hoping for a proper Godzilla game in the future, this is a very worthy substitute, especially for something like the Pipeworks trilogy. Well, yes, Save the Earth Melee is happening, and I'm genuinely really excited for where that goes. This Gigabash is wow. I'm even without the DLC, I'm genuinely surprised how fun this game is.
Yeah, one cool thing was that for Ghidorah's grab, they actually use Ghidorah 1998 or Grand King Ghidorah's little energy things there, which is kind of cool. And then you also
I thought of it as a reference to Kaiser Ghidorah.
That's what I thought too, but then I was red. I knew I'd seen red energy from Ghidorah somewhere else, and I knew it wasn't Kaiser Ghidorah. So
yeah, Kaiser was blue. Kaiser's blue. The way he grabbed him, that definitely reminded me of Kaiser. But like, yeah, the pink energy that's Grand Ghidorah, which interesting.
And it also kind of makes me a little upset because then I'm like, wait a second, you're gonna use something from Grand King Ghidorah, but you don't use Grand King Ghidorah's design. Literally, it's like Heisei Ghidorah, but just better.
Yeah. The only problem that I have with Grand Ghidorah's design is like the wings are too proportionally off.
Like, but I think like also
way too small.
They've touched up the designs a little bit, so I wouldn't be surprised if they changed up the wings just a tad. But like, I don't know, like when I see that design, like you've got like the really like it doesn't have the fur, but it has like more impressive crest, the horns on the top of the head. I always loved this design.
Yeah, this is a really cool design. It's not my favorite. That's MonsterVerse, obviously, but it's still a really, really sick design. Like my only problem is that the wings feel a little too small. Even if you look at the Cretaceous version, the wings don't look terrible on that. They're like the wings don't really look that bad. Hell, I'd go as far to say as they look alien. They look extraterrestrial in some way, whereas with Grand, it feels like he would barely be able to lift himself off the ground with those things.
Like, I would say it's like my favorite Ghidorah design, but it's probably like a mix of I always really liked the Heisei design, but like I think it was lacking a few things, so Grand just did what was already there but better, which is true. Like I think probably MonsterVerse Ghidorah is probably like maybe like my third or fourth favorite design. It's probably because I like I'm not the biggest fan of the heads, but I really like what they did with the wings and how big they made them, and because it just provides a lot of like good poses, especially like this scene right here.
Like,
oh yeah,
oh god, that shot is so like, or even just the one where he's in the storm, like where you see his silhouette and the Argo is approaching, and it's just the lightning behind it. It's just it's so good.
GMK Ghidorah is superior Ghidorah. We'll show off GMK Ghidorah because
look, I love GMK. Ghidorah had no reason to be. GMK was great. Ghidorah had no reason to be here. Like Mothra, it's a you could probably justify. Design.
Yeah, Mothra makes sense, but Ghidorah is like, okay.
Like, why Ghidorah? Like, you could have probably gotten away with maybe Rodan. Like, if you had to do another flying monster, like, okay, maybe Rodan.
Oh, it's like I think your mic's like popping in and out, Minecraft.
Yeah, your mic's kind of getting
Wait, if he ain't got mains, probably. I don't want it. This Ghidorah doesn't have mains. This one's only got like the little spines. He's got the Varan spines right there.
Yeah.
It's like the same thing with Greg.
That was very clear.
He's got something similar.
Like that was very clearly meant to be Varan.
Yeah, I mean, like
three-headed Varan.
Yeah, as long as they at least got like the kind of like some essentials of Ghidorah, which is the design and the fact that he's the one that gives Godzilla the hardest time out of. Between him, Mothra, and Baragon, then it's like I'm pretty much all good to go. You can make him like
I think like Ghidorah's never really had like a bad design. He's had less favorable designs, but I wouldn't say he had a flat out bad one.
Yeah,
I also love this guy's art of Ghidorah, especially Showa. So good.
Oh, that is so cool. Oh, that is so freaking cool. Yeah, I would probably say the worst Ghidorah design, at least in the movies, would be GMK, but even then, it's not terrible. If you're going to make it mystical, it at least tries that.
Yeah.
Even if it just slaps Varan's head on Ghidorah's body.
Yeah, hot take, a bit of a hot take for me. I don't even hate Planet Eater Ghidorah all that much.
Never mind. I completely forgot Planet Ghidorah is a thing. So there's a bad Ghidorah design. It's Planet Ghidorah because you literally don't see
the noodle. Okay, I would say the noodles are terrible, but like the true form, even if it doesn't do much in the actual movie, when you think Eldritch Ghidorah, you would probably think something like that.
The full body is
granted,
full body outfit.
Granted, I'm a.
I was gonna say, Daisuke, I think your mic's also kind of popping in a little bit out as well.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I speak a little too loudly.
No, you're good. Don't worry.
Yeah. Like as far as like the particular design goes, it's like obviously I would have much rather he had like the full body than what we got in the actual movie. But I will say still better than how Mechagodzilla was treated. Which isn't a high bar, but still.
Yeah, Mechagodzilla.
Banana.
I think the only problem I have with the design is the wings. I think the wings.
Yeah, the wings are really thin there.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, the wings.
Honestly, I think the biggest reason why I'm biased for this design is that one MMD animation. Just Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
It's like that. How? I remember seeing a comment on his latest video, like, "Do you want to see me do better than the Polygon trilogy? Want to see me do it again?" It's just so. It's like, come on. This is how you do it. This is how it should have been done.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think like the first one of the trilogy is my favorite. The first one.
What was that? I think your mic's still a little crackly there.
Oh, crap. Well, let me do something about it.
Oh, he's popping out. Let's see if he fixes it. Yeah, I think
Ghidorah hasn't really had.
Is that they did the toy of the full head, and it's like, I'm not surprised not many people bought the toy because it's like, why are you gonna buy something that wasn't really in the movie? Same thing as like the anime Mechagodzilla, but at least that one had a more solid design.
Yeah, that figure definitely does not do the design all that much justice.
Yeah, they didn't do the either. At least, and then there was Shin Ghidorah is pretty good too.
Shin Ghidorah is like King Ghidorah is like a show like a show of King Ghidorah.
Yeah.
This Shin Ghidorah feels like a scrapped concept for MonsterVerse Ghidorah, and I say that in a good way.
It feels more like
this looks fitting.
Offshoot, like it's more of an offshoot of like Heisei Ghidorah, kind of.
Yeah,
it
looks like head than anything, pretty much. But
I think it's probably because of like with how his wings are shaped. Because MonsterVerse's wings have that arch where they come out and then they shoot out that way. Where this is more of like a fan.
This definitely draws a lot from Heisei Ghidorah. But I think the reason why I say this feels like concept art from MonsterVerse Ghidorah is probably the heads.
Yeah, the heads. They're close, but like we can look at MonsterVerse's concept. Ghidorah concepts.
Oh god, I love. Oh god, that head, concept head right there. That. Look,
where like the wings. Like he looks alien, but it's just like
a bit too on the nose.
Yeah,
he doesn't feel like what would be a Titan, but also not.
Yeah,
MonsterVerse. That's why I love the final design because even if it isn't alien, it doesn't really feel alien.
Yeah, but it's like one of those things where, like, aesthetically, Ghidorah just like in the MonsterVerse just fits. Like they don't do a whole lot to make him overly unique. He just feels like they modernized Ghidorah. And like I know for some people that feels sort of like not good enough, but like for me, I'd say like. I'd rather have them gone this way instead of trying too hard to really reinvent what Ghidorah looks like.
Yeah.
Like considering like what you got for like the like MonsterVerse Godzilla designs, where like some of them were like this, and then others were like kind of faithful, and then went off in like a really like weird direction, or like things like that design. Even though this design, which I like it, but it's still kind of out there. Like I'd rather them have.
You had some that were almost. You had some that were almost one-to-one copies of the Heisei design, which, while I don't mind it, it feels a little awkward.
Yeah. I always saw these. I know people said these are concepts, but I don't know. I've never seen a source for this. Which I'm like,
I do actually like the hair.
That one, that one is.
Yeah,
but but that first one, the one with the hair, that fits actually. That really fits.
I really do like the hair on that.
I think like the MonsterVerse design, I think it would have benefited if they added like hair to it, like the mains they have in the show era.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing is like honestly, you could take the MonsterVerse design right there, just slap on the little bit of mains here on the back, and probably would have looked nice.
Yeah.
Like you don't even need to say it's like fur. You could say it's like really thin, like gold fibers or something.
Yeah, or even
something
feathers.
Like this, like that's good. Yeah, feathers too.
Like
works.
that works. That actually really works.
Yeah.
One thing I do like about one thing that really like you said the wings specifically with the expression, the fact that they fold up and form a pseudo front limbs, I think actually really fits. For Titanus Ghidorah.
I think like it's definitely one of those cases where, having grown up with Ghidorah with his wings just kind of spread out, it's like that's just natural when I see Ghidorah. But like when I see this, my first thought is the dragons from Skyrim and seeing them walk around, and they have that exact same posture. Like let's do.
My first thought seeing that was Smaug.
Yeah, that's what I kind of think, and like because even like some of the horns, the crest kind of is like vaguely Smaug-like, and even the snouts for them,
like right here for Baldwin, or wait, no, that was actually an in-game shot right there, like right here, like immediately that's what I think of. But then I also think when did the Hobbit come out? Because I think Skyrim was 2011.
The first Hobbit movie came out in 2012, but Smaug only didn't properly appear in full until the second movie, which was 2013.
Yeah, and Skyrim came out in 2011. Yeah. That's why I think Skyrim is because Skyrim had come out earlier, and I think
fair.
Because it was like the three dragons I think of for like modern like animation or modern fantasy and stuff are like the dragons from Skyrim. Game of Thrones dragons, which also were very similar.
Yeah, which also draw the
they're very similar to like King Ghidorah in like
because even right here they have that same thing.
Yeah. Good lord.
Although I would honestly say that I think Ghidorah has like a more defined like upper arm in comparison to like all three of them.
He has more meat. He has more meat to his like arm part. I don't know.
Yeah, I also think his wings are just generally bigger. So, and his chest is too, because when he comes down,
they
that
are
looks future.
Gigantic.
He just roboted there for like a hot minute.
Yeah,
I love Ghidorah. I love
the roboting really badly.
It's got really bad.
Bro, I think our cat stepped on the internet right now.
It's like, so what about a Ghidorah with that fold into a cape? That could work.
Yeah, like Dragon.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah,
I don't know how that would work though. On a like a
since you brought that up, one thing that could be.
Wait, say something again.
One thing that, since that was brought up with Ghidorah's holding a cape, one thing that if they for some reason decide to do Monster X Kaiser Ghidorah, I think that'd actually be really cool if like he had a cape on the back that would turn into the wings. That'd be
how would that look like?
Some of that, and I think you said Monster X that could turn into the wings. And what's
I need references. What does that look like?
A cape that can turn into the wings, like that. He has a cape on the back that unfurls into the wings.
Yeah,
you can like don't you like an image of what that would look like? I'm so like, I don't know if my brain is kind of slow in like a processing it.
Well, like the one thing like I'd assume is that like if we're taking like. Essentially they'd already be saying actually that would be better, so essentially like having some kind of protrusions out here that are fold back to be a cape, so like maybe like black membranous bits, and then when he transforms, they just become full wings.
Oh, yeah, okay. I thought you were talking about the final form. I didn't know you were talking about Monster X. Yeah, I can see it in Monster X.
Yeah.
Yeah, the wings for Kaiser Ghidorah, at least especially in presentation in the final film, they just kind of look impractical, where they just look way too small. Like, how the hell is he able to fly with those things?
What that would be interesting if like Monster X's arms were like that, like one Ling monster from Pacific Rim, like Orochi or something.
Otachi.
Yeah.
Otachi, yeah.
Yeah, that would work.
It's really weird how like different Monster X is compared to like every other monster in the series. Like he just looks really different.
He looks like an Ultraman kaiju. Like you compare that to something from Bizarre.
Wasn't there like a bone monster in like the original Ultraman that like came from like the monster graveyard?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like giving Final Wars like a recent rewatch, and seeing Monster X like in action during it, it kind of gave me a little bit of a pause for thought, because like on the one hand, like it's a neat design for a creature just in general, but on the other hand, it kind of looks, it almost seems like a bit too humanoid, even for the style which the film was going for, pretty much.
Like so compare it to other humanoid kaiju like Gigan or Gabara, they at least have some sort of monstrous aspect. This feels like an ultra kaiju. I mean that in both a good and somewhat negative way.
It's like, I would also say like he's a ultra kaiju and like a later ultra kaiju. Like he looks like he wouldn't be out of place in like Ultraman Nexus. But like granted, I would say that like Destroya fits in with like the Tiga monsters, but like you can also say that like a lot of the monsters fit within the series that they were relatively contemporary with, because like Gigan fits in with Ultraman, and like he wouldn't be too out of place with the Showa monsters of Ultraman.
Yeah,
and a lot of the Heisei monsters fit in within the Heisei Ultras.
Yeah, like I definitely agree with Gigan, pretty much like fitting with the somewhat humanoid shape while still looking fairly monstrous. But I don't agree with Gabra though. I've never liked Gabra as far as design goes.
If you like really like think of it like in like a context of like the movie, isn't like Monster X kind of like a perfect life form of like the Ghidorah species or something?
Well, he's like considered the strongest member of the Ghidorah species, although granted, feats aside, that probably isn't necessarily as accurate. But
I mean, like I wouldn't necessarily like agree he's like the strongest, because I mean, would his next really like be able to regenerate like Monsterverse Ghidorah pretty much?
Well, clearly they can't.
Yep, no, they can't. Pretty much true. Yeah. Nor Heisei Ghidorah, and we never see something like a decapitation happen to Showa or.
Well, I guess it's less like Hey, Monsterverse has the hacks for regeneration, but like Showa and Heisei probably just have stronger scaling. Like even if you can't regenerate something from yourself, if you're strong enough to beat the other person, then it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, and even Monsterverse Ghidorah is able to give Godzilla a run for his money pretty much. So,
but now that we do have enough people here, I think that we can go into both the Monsterverse interview roundtable and the Ultraman Rising trailer. We'll start out with the Ultraman one purely because it's faster, and not faster, it's shorter.
I haven't seen the new trailer yet.
But I'm also gonna probably be stopping like every couple of seconds, just so that we don't get copyright claimed or anything.
Wait, we get copyright claim on live streams like that?
Oh yeah. After the live stream, like what's it called? Part of the -1 live stream that I did where we were going over the trailer, that ended up getting partially claimed, and I fought the claim and they were like, nope, get poo-pooed. And I was like, all right. And then I had to just cut out one part of that thing. And since they only did one part, I didn't have to worry about a secondary claim.
My GVK stream pretty much got content ID'd when we were going over like the Boston fight and caught him pretty much.
That sucks.
Yeah, it kind of, I mean, it's not affected or anything all that much, but it did get the claim. Also, hi Vic.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, we lost Minecraft World. I'll wait till he gets back in. He was having issues with his mic. Yeah.
Huh?
It's like one of those things where it's like, then if you want to show clips of something on stream, then like you have to have a version of the film that has like it's inverted, so then it doesn't get claimed that way, and then also has like a filter on it or like text over it so you don't get claimed that way. And it's like you're going through so many hoops just so you don't get claimed for something that's clearly fair use. Well, it's like
it sucks. It's like no matter how much you try to like pause it and all that, like you would just have
the golden rule is often like 10 seconds or like 10 or 15 seconds, but sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah. Probably should have to like do some kind of way, like kind of like what EFAP does with some of the things that they cover, where they just put their logo like kind of overlaid on the stuff that they're covering.
Yeah, but I think they use like OBS or something. So
okay.
That's the problem is that if I'd have to learn how to start using OBS, which I think I'm gonna start doing in the future, primarily so then like I have less to worry about in regards to like paying for StreamYard with all the extra assets, but then I have to like do the intro and stuff manually and all the backgrounds and stuff. So like doing that, it's like it's sort of like you're paying for the convenience of StreamYard, whereas with OBS you have more you can do. Well, yeah. But I texted Minecraft World. We'll see if he just hops back in. I'll just text him and ask if he wants us to start without him on the Ultraman thing or not. But obviously, since like you've joined, Vic, how are things on your end?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Nope, there. Literally right as I'm as I'm like sending him the text, he hops back in. Perfect. Welcome back. How does it sound, Minecraft?
It's better.
It's much better. That's a lot better.
Yeah.
That isn't really the best in my room, so.
Yeah, no, it is what it is.
It's tough.
Let's see. There we go. Streamception just a tiny bit. And there we go. That for now.
Alrighty. Ultraman Rising.
Ultraman Rising.
Yeah, Omniviewer released a video about this earlier, which, okay.
Yeah.
Single day. The world needs you.
I think, like, one thing I'm curious about is that this is, at least, not including Ultraman the Next, this is the second series outside of the original, or the second thing outside of the original to use the quote-unquote original Ultraman without Hayata as the host.
Yeah,
because they had Kamigawa or Kamigawa for Shin Ultraman.
Yeah, did they use Hayata for the Hanna-Barbera one? Because there was, a Hanna-Barbera series.
That was.
So you mean like Ultraman America or something? That was like Ultraman.
Yeah, it was that one animated movie. I can't remember what it's called. It was like,
it's like Ultraman America or something, where it has like 3 Ultraman. Like 3 Ultraman, 1 female, or something like that.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think it's called like Ultraman America, if I'm not mistaken.
Ultraman the Begins, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't the. I don't think that was the original Ultraman. That was
That was like its own incarnation, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, those are 3 different Ultramen. I think one of them's like Ultraman Chuck or something. Yeah, it's Ultraman Scott is one of them, Ultraman Chuck, and then and Ultra Woman Beth. Yeah. Yeah, because I remember they
so weird,
like
but
a peppy name, bro.
I always just wanted to draw an Ultraman, but it was like a super southern Ultraman, just called Ultraman Cletus.
Like that ultra, like that weird, like Ultraman parody. Have you seen like this? Like, have you know that like one movie of like that this like sumo wrestler that like turns big and fights these like big ass monsters? Yeah, and there's like that Western Ultraman fan.
Yeah. Cletus from The Simpsons as Ultraman.
Or like I remember like, the end of that movie where they like their beam and they have to like combine all their powers, and he's like, "Wait, I don't think I'm doing anything." And like he literally takes his hand off of like their shared beam thing. He's like, "Yeah, no, I'm literally not adding anything to it. I am literally useless here." But let's keep going.
To become something more.
Oh, that is a cool shot.
Is that Gamora? Yeah. No, is that Gamora? Is that...
No, that's Nargona.
Oh, that's Naranga. That's sick.
Yeah,
that's Naranga. I love the animation for this. Like, this is so good.
The thing is that with his arms and he has such a like thin waist right here. He's really skinny.
It's weird, but like I don't hate it.
It's like a much more like colorful. It's like a very neon like. Oh, it kind of makes me think of a bit like a kind of like a less lower tier sort of like Spider-Verse with like more neon and all that. But yeah,
I was thinking like it has like kind of like that lo-fi cyberpunk kind of vibe, which like Japan like the aesthetic of like Akira and stuff really influenced cyberpunk. So
yeah, it gives me like a very like strong comic book sort of vibe to it. Yeah.
No, it's got to like the like very colorful lighting, like Blade Runner in those colors.
Yeah, well, Blade Runner took a lot from Akira too, so that's why.
I think actually looking at that shot, I'm more reminded of Lego Monkey Kid, if anything. I have no idea why, but like Lego Monkey Kid is what I'm thinking of.
Oh, gotcha.
Lego. Oh yeah, like that Lego. That's like a crazy like animation, though.
Yeah, that's my favorite, and that is my favorite television show in general. So this animation style reminding me of that definitely gives it perks. I'm a little bit miffed about the season 5 animation though. Flying Bark isn't working on that one, which I
want to see if I can get it to. Is that as best as it can? Yeah.
Make it have like pixelated. Make it like low quality as hell.
Super pixelated. Because I'm like, I see here, and I don't see it. Like, I can't really tell what's going on in any of these other shots there. Let's see what it's.
Yes, sir! Oh yeah, bro, we going. We can watch it like this, bro.
The content ID from getting us is that it's just so low quality.
It's low quality.
I can barely make out who both of them are.
Netflix looks so blurry right now.
Oh, bro, Ultraman, bro, the new Ultraman movie looking fire.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of cool fighting monsters.
That's actually a really good shot right there. But also, I'm looking at the new monster. Let's see if we can go back just a second. Wait, then we went too far. No.
It's actually kind of cool fighting.
Like, I don't know.
Monsters.
It just like. Well,
oh.
There it
looks like that like weird like scrap like.
Oh, whoa. Bemular.
We get Bemular here, which is super cool.
My baby boy Ben, what's up, Shorty?
Baby boy Ben.
That looks so weird.
Like
what does it do to my boy? They massacred my boy, bro. This is not my Bemular.
That is so interesting.
His arms are bigger than they usually are too, which is weird.
Yeah.
Like I kind of vibe with it. Like I'm like, okay. Like I've always liked his design. Like the styling around his neck and the rest of his body was always super cool. Like I always wanted to get a Bemular figure, and like besides his face, which is a little wonk, I like everything about this design.
He looks oddly cute.
I think that's the point, because even Naranga looks kind of cute. I do like his breath though. Like the spiraling around here is really
like cool. That looks sick. That looks really.
It looks like the NECA comic breath, or like the '89 figure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just
Yeah, like even here, Naronga looks super like he looks really cute.
They gave him like the blue eye, like Ultraman power.
I'd probably say he looks pretty derpy in that shot. I don't know why.
Here?
Well, he actually looks kind of menacing in that shot specifically, but like design wise, I'd probably say he's more derpy. Granted, Naronga is one of the more derpy kaiju in the Ultraman mythos, so
he looks like he's about to say like humans are friends, not food.
Like I don't.
He looks like the purple smiling cat from Alice in Wonderland.
The Cheshire Cat.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know. Why that's the first thing I think of. But
what animation?
I know Omniviewer mentioned it, but it does like right here. This really looks like an Illumination animation.
Illumination. Yeah, I'm looking. Industrial Light and Magic.
It's Industrial Light and Magic, really?
Whoa.
Yeah, no, it's Netflix Animation Subaraya product. So, to quote Wikipedia, a Japanese-American co-production between Netflix Animation and Subaraya Productions with animation by Industrial Light and Magic. It is their 44th film in the franchise.
Interesting.
Huh.
That's super interesting.
Yeah.
That does not look like Industrial Light and Magic.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, I wouldn't have guessed. But what's interesting too is that this design has the blue. Obviously, the eyes are glowing, but they're glowing blue, similar to I think Ultraman Powered, who is also an American Ultraman.
Isn't like Ultraman Power like a reboot of Ultraman?
Ultraman Powered is essentially a reboot of Ultraman.
Yeah, Ultraman in general, he usually glows a yellow eye, so that's interesting.
Because I'll show you for everyone who's not familiar what Powered looks like.
Ultraman Power is literally me though. He's like a Stigma Alpha Tiger male. Patrick Bateman.
Yeah,
like right
that
here.
Design.
Because like he's like one
design.
of the only ultras I can think of that has like just overtly blue eyes normally.
Yeah. Wait,
canon.
Does Blazar have blue eyes? I swear Blazar has blue eyes.
I think he has like a light. Yeah, he does. He has like a lightish blue, but they're almost like closer to white and like directly blue. But then the other thing too is that like, unlike with this Ultraman or Powered, Blazar doesn't look like the original Ultraman at all.
Yeah, but still, that is an Ultra with bluish eyes.
And the other Ultraman, like Ultraman. Yeah.
Ultraman with.
And I don't even smell eyes right. Jeez. Let's see if that changes it. Trigger early stage. Yeah, him.
Yeah.
Then obviously Powered. And that's like just the original Ultraman.
Literally,
this is like
no Geed. Geed has them. Wait.
Wait. Does he?
Does Geed have them?
No, isn't it like Gee has like I think Gee has like blue in the middle, right? It's like white and blue.
No, Gee does have blue eyes.
Yeah, Gee does have blue eyes.
Yeah.
It's weird that like really I look up Ultraman with blue eyes and they don't show up. Oh, Cosmos. Well, no, it's just that one shot of Cosmos that looks like it because Cosmos' eyes.
No, Zero doesn't have blue eyes. I thought he did.
Probably.
Yeah, it's probably just lighting.
Yeah.
I'm like Ultraman with blue eyes just shows me a picture of Max with like pure just yellow eyes. Okay. What's a shot of? I don't think Tiga normally does not have blue eyes on that stage. No.
Let me see.
Ultraman, Tiga, Power type. He just has normal eyes.
Yeah,
that's just random art.
Yeah, that's just pure yellow. That's just pure yellow. That's not.
It's super weird because there will be like certain promotional material where like the eyes are different colors and it's like it's literally out just messing with me.
It's like early stages or something.
I'm like questioning myself at every
okay, at least it's not unfounded. So
Ultraman be all like giving you that Mandela effect. Crazy.
No, they're like close. They're kind of bluish, but they're like
that's a pretty striking. I actually see green, like a very, very, very bright whitish green.
Okay, bro. I think you're colorblind. No way you think.
Right here, literally, like then like some people will draw with just like pure yellow, and I'm like, okay,
yeah.
Continue to gaslight me.
Yeah, well, okay. Blue-eyed Ultraman are at least not unfounded.
Oh yeah, like look right here. Now he.
What the
now
hell?
It looks like
that's Ace.
Well, yeah, it's Ace and what it was like, Burning Alpha or something. Whatever his like
Ace?
wrestler form was.
Ace, Burning Alpha. What the hell? Ace Killer?
No, Ace Killer was an Ultra Monster.
Wasn't like Ultraman? What's his name? The evil Ultraman. Why did I forget his name? Ultraman Bemuar or something like that.
Belial.
Belial, yeah.
Ultraman Belial before he turns like all dark. Did he have like blue eyes or something? Like the flashbacks?
I think he does. Yeah. Yeah. Good Ultraman Belial.
We're just going on this tangent about Ultraman eyes.
No, they're not blue. They're regular. Like he just has No, it's just his son that has blue eyes.
It's just regular Ultra eyes.
Regular Ultra eyes. What do you call this yellow color? Regular Ultra eye. Now literally, now we've gone down the literal Ultra eye rabbit hole. Now I'm gonna check out whether Hikari had blue or regular eyes. Yeah, Hikari. Nope, he had ultra yellow eyes. Maybe this was the same.
You got the basic eyes with yellow eyes, like a loser.
Actually, I like that design. I like that design a lot.
I like Hikari, although Tsurugi, I liked him better because of the mask and armor.
Yeah,
and he also
I'm a sucker for like those armor masks. So.
Okay.
I know Gaia and Dinah had regular eyes.
Yeah, Arc has regular eyes, so.
Wait, Ultraman, red and blue. It's like however they say their names. Yeah, these two. They are R&B, whatever. Yeah, they have
like
regular
one of them gets like fucking flown into space by like Belial, like one of the movies.
That was Mebius. Mebius got shot into space in that fight.
Oh yeah, bro. like really funny looking.
Taro has regular eyes. Yeah, Justice has regular eyes. Oh wait, what's it called? What's his name? Jeez, I'm forgetting his name. It's like
we watched like the first like the. We watched the first two Ultraman.
Not Juggler. Wait, no, not him. No. I know he's like part of New Taro. Damn it, I am literally blanking on all my Ultraman character names now.
I mean, there's so many of them.
I was about to say Ginga, but no, Ginga does it either. Actually, no, this is literally better. It's literally the encyclopedia here, so we can actually check through it. I should have done this from the start.
Blue, so pure white, Geed. Cosmos doesn't have him. Dinah doesn't have him.
I'll smash the mother.
Oh wait, go down. Is that? Oh no, that's powered. That's powered. I thought that was someone else. Yeah.
Yeah,
no, that's.
Why I think it was sorry, it was Titus. Jeez. And Fuma, in certain pictures, it looks like Fuma had blue eyes. I'm literally being gaslit by all of the
genuine. I think it's just because like there's so much blue on a lot of them.
Yeah, I thought I swore for a second that Ginga had blue eyes, but no, it's just he's literally just blue. So many places.
I don't know if I see your turban balls or not.
Not said it correctly. To get like dark.
Like Blazar. What made me think Blazar had them was just the. Yeah, what made me think Blazar had them was just the massive like fiery thing on the massive fire thing on the side of his head. That's what made me think he had blue eyes.
Evil Dinah. I don't think Evil Dinah had. No, he had regular eyes.
Okay.
Which is interesting because Evil Dinah is just like it's just a colored version, while Dark Tiga was like really different.
You wanna? Can we like go back to our trailer?
Yeah.
I am checking to see if Ultraman Uggle has blue eyes.
Bro, no one even know that Ultraman, bro. No one knows who Agu means, bro. What the hell does Agu stands for?
It's like
Who names their Ultraman Agu,
like,
bro?
I think it was like a reference to like water or something because Gaia was like Earth. Oh, they don't even have Zereth.
Like, you think like
we are
everybody,
finding all of this
you
out.
think like everybody's names like
This
Ultraman?
we are going down this rabbit hole, okay? It is going to be really difficult to get out.
Nope.
Yeah,
Zereth doesn't have them. Yeah,
right,
I couldn't. I thought Zereth had red eyes for a bit.
No, it's the dark one. It's the dark one that had red eyes. It's just because he's literally mostly red.
Zereth. Why am I saying Zereth? Zearth. It's not
Yeah,
Zereth.
Shadow.
It's Zearth.
I will always call it Zereth.
I thought we were just watching a trailer.
No.
Bro, I really forgot about the trailer, bro.
I have an eye for detail.
That's what happens when
that.
that's what
I
happens
can
when
very
you're an
well see
artist.
that,
You have
bro.
an eye for details. No, but like
Pena said, even though it was yesterday, happy anniversary to Godzilla 2014. I think probably maybe Sunday or Monday I'm gonna do a stream about 2014 and doing a walk through all the designs.
Oh, bro, I like 2014.
Yeah.
He's like,
that was a really fun stream that you did, Sea Monster. That was a really fun one.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's definitely a fun one.
I got to rant about the Mutos.
Yeah,
And I'll probably do it again.
Well, let's keep going.
No.
Well, the flag that the Mutos got more so.
Oh,
No,
Yeah, like,
no more tangents.
that's Bemula. No, that's Nirgana.
That's Naranga. Yeah.
Naranga. Not Nirgana. Naranga. Why am I getting these names wrong?
Gonorrhea.
No. I love the new kaiju design. It just that's a freaking dragon. That's a freaking dragon. It is so cool.
Naranga also. Like,
it looks like the dragon from the Hanna-Barbera movies, like the Hanna-Barbera Godzilla shows.
The fire.
Yeah.
dragon?
What was it?
Yeah.
The fire. Yeah, the Firebird. Firebird. I think the one
I think
that
that's the
basically
98
not
one.
Rodan. Basically not Rodan. That thing.
Of course, Zim's gonna bring it up.
Firebird.
Oh no.
Yeah, not Rodan.
Yeah, this guy. Yeah, it's essentially this, but somewhat better looking. Somewhat.
Okay.
Hanna-Barbera's design. Really cool.
Debatable.
Axor, my beloved.
That's debatable.
Not very good at it.
Yeah, it's literally just
Look, if you go back to that. Oh, that is so cool.
I'm not very good at it.
Oh, that is so cool.
I would say like the
Oh.
theme here is pretty cool.
Bro, stop
that is
groaning in the
sick.
mic, bro. I keep on hearing you groan in the mic right now. It's like
Interesting though, that,
uncomfortable as hell.
He's got like it's interesting that there's like a orange, like not orange, geez, purple. There's a purple like.
Where do you get orange from purple, bro?
I'm literally I've been gaslit by Ultraman eyes. I'm getting all my colors wrong now.
I'm getting more of
What?
like Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty vibes out of this dragon.
Bro, I'm literally colorblind and I can tell that's purple.
I'm getting reminded of Tiamat. GXK Tiamat. No, I'm dead serious. I am dead serious. Like,
You miss her that much. God, but not
Yes.
forgotten.
yes, I rewatched GXK recently. I still love the movie. I still absolutely love the movie, but like, oh damn, that is one of the most painful
Why am I
things.
getting,
That
like,
is the
why do I
worst
feel like
thing about
it's,
that
like,
movie. The fact that they wasted Tiamat.
It kind of looks like Yao, like I don't know, like one of the Yao's design.
No, the Rebirth one.
Maybe, I don't know. There's like a bunch of like maybe one of the fan designs. I don't know.
No, because there was a Gallus that did have a very similar. The final boss of Gamera Rebirth was a Gallus. Spoilers for Gamera Rebirth. That looks that has a very similar design philosophy to that.
So, this design kind of makes me think of not even anything from kaiju stuff, but it actually makes me think of Maleficent's dragon form in Sleeping Beauty. So
Yeah.
it's
awesome.
like
That's a good
the
point.
purple and the green eyes and everything.
Yeah, the
You know,
frills.
not so much the fire though. You know, they're it's not shooting green fire here like it was in that.
Honestly, the green fire, like a green breath, would honestly make more sense because the blue feels
Yeah.
weird. Especially
Yeah.
because
I mean,
blue,
blue-
like it's weird.
Blue at
Yeah,
least
where's the
makes it
blue
feel
coming
natural
from?
because blue is the hotter color, but like still maybe touch it up a little bit or even make it purple consistent with the spines.
Purple or green. Those two colors would work fine.
Yeah,
for
something
him.
around there.
Continue. Wait. Yeah.
What? I agree. Oh my god.
Like, he looks really
Seriously? Oh my god.
Dude looks anorexic.
Legs.
Dude.
Hell no, bro. What is that, boy?
Wow. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
like,
Ultraman doesn't look right there.
Like, chest up, he doesn't look bad, but when you go below the chest, Jesus.
Bro, his whole, like, torso is built like a Dorito.
His torso is a freaking His torso's a triangle. Like,
bro, you are literally a triangle. How are you alive?
His arms and legs look like they're about to snap. They would snap off if he tried to punching something.
No, like if he even tried to poke something, they would just pop.
Well, it's like Shin Godzilla and this Ultraman together. Bro's got no arms, and this bro's got like literally no arms and no legs. He's literally just a chip.
Bro, it's like it's like a Dorito, right? With like toothpick as legs. And then with like a fucking football as a fucking head.
Yeah, you put like a Mentos thing and just like put like some kind of tinfoil on it, just on the head, and you can put it on a Dorito.
New Ultimate design, bro.
Yeah,
at least he
in action though it does look good though. That design looks good in action though.
I think it's really good animation.
Yeah, his design at a standstill looks weird, but when it's actually moving, Jesus, this is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's a really cool shot right there.
Oh, that's sick.
Even like what's it called? Like him moving out like that. That's pretty good. Like
it's weird at a standstill. It looks really weird at a standstill, but like he's moving, it doesn't look bad.
Mm-hmm. You got baby.
I do not like the design of the baby.
I don't like the design of the baby.
Yeah, I've seen multiple people say that. I partially agree. Titanosaurus as a child does not look great.
Yeah. No.
Are we doing a Baby Yoda thing again? Hasn't that been done to death at this point?
No.
Like, I've seen good baby kaiju designs. Some that are even just miniaturized versions of the actual kaiju. Baby Gorgo looks phenomenal. And that's just a miniature version of the mother.
Yeah.
So the problem is that like it literally just looks like a actual child's proportions with like monsters on it. Because like this is where like an actual baby's face is gonna be, but then you have the fins and everything. It's just
you look at the adults, it doesn't match at all.
No. Like I understand ontogeny is a thing, but still.
But like
Pac-Man.
Oh, that's cool. No, but like if you compare the baby to the mother, to the mother's design, the mother is very clearly a dragon. This is like a child with dragon features. It just doesn't fit.
Like this looks like it would be something that would grow up into like a Suitmation monster, whereas the dragon just looks like a dragon. Like, even animals that go through ontogeny don't have this drastic of a change in most cases.
Yeah.
Like, you can really
jarring.
tell this is designed to be cute to people instead of, like, a small quote-unquote cute baby monster.
Like, looking at this design, I would compare it to something like Zuko. At least Zuko looks like something that could grow up to be an adult that looks akin to Kong.
Yeah. as well
or
as
an adult Star King minus the evil.
Yeah.
What's interesting too is that like they've been doing it more in the later Ultra series, but like Ultraman here talks a lot in his actual like Ultra form.
I think it feels a bit weird coming immediately after Blazar, where he's just roaring for the entire thing.
Well, it's funny is that Blazar was kind of the exception out of the new shows, because in the new shows, a lot of them talk more.
Yeah, but even in comparison, it's still a little jarring.
Yeah.
Because we just had Blazar who doesn't talk. So.
Hey. No.
Yeah, like that's. And even then, this one has a purple breath.
But why didn't you give the dragon a purple breath?
Yeah.
You gave the child a purple breath. Why don't you have consistency with the beam attacks, damn it?
I guess you could say like it's a weaker breath because it's younger, but then I'm like, then give the child the blue one, because at least that one kind of makes more sense. Plus, you're bonding with Ultraman, so it'd be kind of cool to have them have matching energy colors.
Yeah. Yeah. Do that. Like, if you're not going to make it consistent, swap them.
What's that? She has acid reflux.
Babies get acid reflux?
Okay, I'm going to be real. That was funny.
The burp was green. That's so
acid
weird.
Reflux.
Babies get acid reflux?
Yeah, like right there.
Okay, I'm gonna be real. Giving the kaiju child acid reflux and making that acid reflux a beam attack actually is kind of funny.
It's like a mini smoke ring.
Great.
What's funny too is that literally the human host has more built arms than Ultraman does.
Like, why is the host looks like a trapezoid? Ultraman is a triangle. What the hell?
He even got there was a new attack there too.
That was a sound. That was like a sound echo.
I am not built for this.
Yeah.
How do you?
Yeah, right there.
Also,
Yeah.
Yeah, Bolton or not Bolton.
No, that's Bolton.
Gomora. I thought I said Bolton for some reason, but no, Bolton, Gomora, Naranga, Skydon, and it's the Thundersaurus Megazord, or the I forget what it's called in Alba Ranger, but yeah, that's super cool. I love the fact that they did the Down Thunder Megazord.
Interesting.
Oh, that's sick.
And that's another one there too, but it's legally distinct because the crests there are missing. But yeah, it's the same. It's the same design there.
Wow,
that is cool.
Okay. All right,
that's cool.
Kudos.
Juggle everything. Your job, your kid.
I'm sorry, the body positions with that design. The body position with that design is just so weird.
That position could be opening all sorts of floodgates there.
Oh god.
I like monsters.
I like Pagila, even though that does not look like Pagila at all.
Oh, that looks like Charizard.
Yeah. Actually, honestly, it kind of looks like Pagila with the horn there, but like the face isn't really there. Plus, like the wings look closer to like Pagila or Chandler from the Shin Ultraman series because they're really membranous, whereas in like the show they were always like a solid thing.
Yeah, and the color scheme reminds me a lot of Charizard.
Yeah, definitely.
Come on.
It kind of makes me think of Charmeleon because Charizard's more orange.
Oh,
Charmeleon's red.
Oh, that is cool.
That chunk boy.
KFC in the background. He's slamming him into a KFC.
Bro is literally exactly why he's as big as he is because of KFC.
Yes. Yeah.
There is all
like,
the spices for that KFC.
No, but like Nergona actually looks really freaking cool.
The head looks really nice. I like the head. The body's just really bulbous, but it's like because it's supposed to be animation, everything's super stylized. It makes sense.
Yeah. Plus, Nergona himself is pretty chunky, naturally being a Baragon reuse. So
Ultraman could use a trip to KFC or two.
True.
As much as like, look, that's funny. That's his hosting the chicken there. Do your job. Yeah.
Doing the best I can.
That whole sequence there feels really like straight out of a Marvel movie where it's like, I'm doing the best.
Yeah. Granted, I don't hate it. I don't really hate it. Like,
it's funnier than most jokes in most MCU movies these days.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Yeah, the joke feels like something out of Ant-Man, which I don't mind.
Roger that, sir.
The good Ant-Man.
As well as having like pop in the background, which I'm like, I'm just not a fan.
Like when it's rapping, it's not the best, but when the proper like melody suits in it, it's actually the trailer music picks up. Mm-hmm. But like, yeah,
like it took me a while to actually grow on Here We Go for GVK, so like I just generally
Here We Go sold me instantly because of what it was going for. This feels like something that would be hyping someone up.
Yeah,
Beast Mode didn't do that.
The one thing I will say is that at least like it feels like this is like a pop song that was specifically made for Ultraman because they mention Ultraman in it.
Also, I like the role reversal with Ultraman here, where he's trying to defend the kaiju from the kaiju hunting agency. I think that's actually a really interesting take.
It's interesting to see that, especially with like this is gonna be like one of the first times in an Ultra series where like whatever the quote unquote science patrol is in, they aren't really like on like any good grounds with Ultraman at all. But what's interesting is that like I'd have to I'd have to read the Marvel comic series again, because I think like also I definitely know for a fact that the comic series, it was a younger man who took on the role of Ultraman in the comics, and he was also kind of at odds with the Science Patrol in that world too, but he was still on better terms though. So it's like it's interesting that both American adaptations for Ultraman in recent years have like done very similar things, which I'm not sure if they're trying to do it for brand synergy, and if this does well, then Marvel's going to try to do more stuff, because they did the Ultraman series and they did the Ultra 7 series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm probably going to read the Marvel one just to see where it goes, like just to see what they do with it. I've heard mixed things about it, so
it's okay.
Ultraman in this shot looks like, please stop making fun of my arms and legs looking like twigs.
It's like, bro, it's over. I literally am built like a chip. Bro, I get it past those Doritos allegations.
He looks so depressed.
Oh, he just looks embarrassed. Okay, that when he's looking at the helicopter looks menacing.
It's interesting.
She's captured.
How you. I wonder if
I'll never stop until she's captured.
If not really, you get me on the black screen. I wonder if they're gonna have something where he became Ultraman right away, or if he had passed it on from his father, because there's been the passing of like Ultra powers to their kids. But I'm thinking more than likely it's going to be him on his own being the first person to become Ultraman.
It's implied at the start where he's like, what was it like being Ultraman and all that? But he's asking that to his dad, so it's probably a parental thing. But it could also be like he's asking some other question not related to Ultraman.
Exactly.
She needs you.
Baseball. It's kind of cool.
Dom Toretto approves. That is a really cool shot, actually. Oh, God.
Yeah, let's try to get that back. Yeah, no.
Right.
I tried to just slow it down. Wait, did I get too far?
Yeah, right there. No!
I'm slowing it down. I cannot deal with this. Yeah, there we go.
There.
Yeah.
Oh,
That was a cool shot.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Yeah, that looks like Ultraman. That does not look terrible. That does not look proportionally dissonant. That looks like freaking Ultraman.
Yeah, the angle looks just right.
Not in there at all. I want to see if he's just in the back. Yeah, he's. Oh wait, no. Oh, Black Rudy's in here too. There we go.
Oh, hey, Black.
I literally didn't realize.
Only took you like an hour.
Well, better late than never.
Matt is trapped in the back.
This is why I need the dual monitors, so that I could probably pick up on when someone's actually there or not.
Yeah. I've been stuck in the back rooms.
How were the back rooms?
Very moist.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah.
I would like to comment, because I've been following along. I would like to comment that Ultraman in this movie, at least his face, it looks like Frieza if he ate a lemon.
I can see it. I can see it.
Yeah.
No, but that shot right there, that's
a pretty good one,
that's sick.
But then, like, I'm like, that looks really cool. Then I'm like, yo, bro, that is what his legs are. That's how thin those things are. Like, look at that.
Bill Cipher is jealous at how triangular this guy is.
I think that version of Ultraman would struggle trying to fight a smaller version of Godzilla, just for reference.
I mean, we go from Godzilla's singular point to this. Whoa.
Yeah. Interesting. That's new. So that doesn't look familiar at all. So that's probably what they're gonna be fighting at the end.
Yeah, that's probably.
I'd be really upset if they're like, let's make that Zeton, because if that's Zeton, I'm gonna be like, what did you do?
Like, I love Zeton, but like Shin Ultraman already used him, and so did the anime. You don't need to use him
That's
again.
why I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised if they use Zeton again.
I forgot the anime existed.
Granted, the later design makes me think of something else. When it shows up more, we'll see it later. But when it shows up more, I'll explain.
No matter what happens.
Asian mommy, literally.
Nice.
There's no if ands. There's no. I just realized.
What the hell is up with your neck?
Eyes. Those eyes are yellow. Why are they yellow? His eyes are blue.
No. We actually saw the costume earlier. The eyes are green. Not green, blue on the costume.
Why is this trailer doing this to me?
I don't know. I'm in the same ballpark as you.
Asian mommy, and what I get is Yellow Eye Ultraman in a movie where there's Blue Eye Ultraman, and apparently this costume has blue eyes.
Is that his mother or his girlfriend or what?
Probably like his girlfriend or something. Or
Yeah,
like
probably his girlfriend or wife if the kid is involved.
Yeah.
No, because like the way they phrase it in the trailer comes across as if they were divorced or something. Because he refers to her child as if he doesn't know who the child is.
Yeah,
or just a friend. Oh, that is so cool.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, pause there. King Joe, or what the one robot that has like the two bulbous things on the shoulder. That's what I'm thinking of. Fuck, what was it?
That makes me think of something out of Titanfall, actually.
King Joe.
Yeah. Ultraman. That.
It does kind of look close to the storage design for King Joe, which was the human King Joe, but maybe I may not be King Joe, because King Joe's like a Ultra 7 villain. So
no, but like
I'd be very surprised.
No, I mean, it's not out of the question. Like, look at that.
Yeah. Maybe. Like, that one's really close. So I love this shot with Mechagodzilla fighting.
Oh, that is so cool.
Really cool. Scout. Oh, that's King Joe back.
Oh god! Oh god!
Yeah, maybe it could be. It would be interesting if they make King Joe the villain, but
no, but like that actually looks. That's what I first thought when I saw that.
I'll see you guys on the next King Joe show.
The next.
I have a question.
What's up?
Yeah, question. This movie is called Ultraman Rising. How many times have we seen Ultraman Rising?
Well, I guess you're getting your money's worth then.
He's rising a lot in this trailer.
Yeah, hopefully.
Pretty good.
Oh, that final shot.
Generic. Ooh, and again another purple one. Okay.
Wait, seriously, why didn't you swap them?
Yeah.
Why did you not swap
I like
the
that at least they
beams?
keep the flying animation to be the same.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
Ultraman.
They also had that one transformation bit in
babysitter.
Oh, this is bad. Bro should be dead.
Oh yes, this movie is coming out in Juneteenth.
Oh wait.
Wait, is it? Oh wait, no, June 13th. Oh wait, no, never mind. It's June 13th. No, because it's June 14th. Yeah, I got them mixed up.
How could you fiend, you monster?
Maybe I am not really black.
I already took away your card, sir.
I'm just Rooney.
You just ruined
it. No, but I'm excited for that movie. I'm interested.
Unironically, I think that movie might actually be the Spider-Verse of Tokusatsu.
Probably. Like,
okay, who's his echoing?
I'm not hearing an echo.
I
hear it
just now.
What about now?
I think.
I still hear it.
Minecraft and Black Rooney are doing it for me. Oh. Now I hear myself.
Yeah, Vic is echoing, and then
Echo.
We don't talk about Echo.
Let me.
I wasn't trying to reference that, but okay.
I don't think. Yeah, no, because I'm like, I don't hear an echo.
You're not echoing. I'm not. I don't have anything on my end.
It's gone for me now.
Okay,
That's
I think it was Black Rooney's end, because.
Huh. Wait.
How about now?
Testing.
Oh, I don't hear any echo anymore.
Okay, it's gone. Okay, it's gone.
Huh. That's weird. Okay. Interesting.
Okay.
Technical difficulties, you gotta love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, I'm interested for Ultraman Rising. I think it's gonna be at least a pretty fun film.
Yeah.
But
you know what I'm pissed off about though? That we have all this Ultraman content, and yet James Harren does not finish Ultra Mega. The one thing I actually want to see.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
I wonder if that's like. I hope that wasn't like an issue where it didn't get enough sales to keep going, because that'd be disappointing.
No, I'm pretty sure it was successful. So people that love Ultra Mega, it's gotten a lot of praises by a lot of people. So I don't know why they wouldn't continue. It's been a year.
Mm-hmm.
Like Radiant Black is going all fine and dandy, but Ultra Mega, you'd think they'd be going hand in hand, but no.
Because they're trying to figure out how to make 10 more Avatar movies.
Let's see, James, was he moved to any other projects recently?
Not that I know of.
It looks like at least for 2022 he's working on something called Four Gathered on Christmas Eve, but that's not for a while. It's probably not gonna be till Christmas time. So unless like they were told that he had to do only that. Well, actually he's working on BPRD for 2023 for an omnibus, but yeah, that's annoying. I guess it might just be the case that like he was working on other stuff and just hasn't been able to work on Ultra Mega anymore, which is annoying. But...
Man, and it's so sad too because Ultra Mega is like probably one of my favorite comics to come out of Image besides Radiant Black, because Ultra Mega, like I absolutely love the concept of like Ultraman meets the boys. Like you see like an ocean of blood, right? You expect it's like from a very gory looking fight, and what are the consequences of that? Oh, the blood scabs over and people are just trapped down in the like solid looking blood thing, and you have to like dig them out. That is harrowing. I love that.
Yeah.
Imagine if we got that in Shin Godzilla, like the blood just scabbed over and people were just drowning in the blood, and then they got trapped inside like amber and mosquitoes. That would be awesome.
Yeah,
that would have been terrifying.
Oh, that would have been too interesting for Shin Godzilla. We can't have that.
Yeah.
But let's move on to the director's roundtable for the Monsterverse.
Oh,
I have not seen this. I'm excited.
We've seen.
Yeah,
I think we've seen bits
this before.
Yeah,
I've seen this before. Discuss their films. Michael Dougherty, my beloved.
I'm gonna move that up. Yeah, I'm gonna move up that whole because he's talking really soft. Jeez, that's better.
Are you not gonna? Is it fast forward?
Yeah, it's on 2 times speed. Yeah, let me move it to 1.5 times speed because he's talking fast anyway. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm not actually looking at the screen. I'm using like a vlog microphone for the because I'm using a phone right now, so I'm gonna have a trouble hearing it if it's at 2 times speed.
Okay.
That I was sitting down with Adam, Gareth, and Mike to have a roundtable about the MonsterVerse. I mean, the first thought that through my head is, well, why don't we just do that every week for dinner?
Yes. He's grown a bit. When I first heard these roundtables happening, I was just glad that I have people a little bit smarter than me and more articulate to be able to talk about it.
Wait, no, pause. Smarter than Adam Wingard is not that big of an achievement. Let's just be real here.
Oh.
Well, at least he admits it.
Quite a difficult process. It's a bit like going into war. And so, like, these are my fellow soldiers and Marines that know what it was like. Everyone else is like, you don't know, man, you weren't there.
I think we always have a really good time when we're together.
Oh, wait, are they making a Godzilla suit? Or...
Yeah, right there. It's like right here, I think.
Oh.
Common bond between 4 guys who directed giant monster movies.
What is really special?
I love Michael Dougherty's direction with the MonsterVerse. Like, that was cool. That was really cool.
Yeah, we should have stuck with it.
About the MonsterVerse, and each movie sort of is a different thing.
Did you feel like restricted? Because I guess we had the luxury of being the first one out, so there was no like stylistic reference. Like, you've got to be like that. I never thought about it, but was it restricted having to follow?
No, not it was intimidating, if anything. What I love about this film is that
I think someone's echoing and listening to it. Yep, I hear it.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear it.
So
it's not me.
Very grounded, real
it's
like
not me.
I hear right? Before Godzilla.
The birthday boy himself.
Yeah.
Godzilla.
I'm gonna pause it right there because I just realized it's showing way too much of this movie, and I don't want this to get claimed.
Yeah. Fair.
Might I add something? Might I add something? I find it real. So, what was it that Gareth asked Wingard exactly? Because
he felt if things were like if he was held down by the style of 2014, essentially.
He was asking Dougherty, not.
Oh wait, right. No, wait. I'm getting them both confused. They're both equally shit. Okay, so, okay, so he asked Dougherty that, and Dougherty said he wasn't limited.
He didn't feel limited. Only that was like kind of intimidating.
Oh, it was kind of intimidating. Okay, I mean, I would imagine so, because this is Gareth Edwards we're talking about here. Okay, so what does this tell us? This tells us that number one,
Dougherty had a lot of shoes to fill.
Big shoes to fill, not a lot of shoes. What is he, a centipede? Yeah, but yeah, so he had big shoes to fill. Understandable. The thing is, does he recognize whether he failed or succeeded is what I want to know, because when directors have these types of conversations, they always focus on, you did this, oh, and you did this, oh, and I find it really cool that you did this. Okay, yeah, but did you do it well is what I want to know. Are they going to address that or not? I hope they do say.
I don't think so.
Probably not. Right. I would personally say he did it well, but there were a few missteps along the way.
A few.
Even as someone who is willing to acknowledge KOTM as their favorite movie ever made, I will say, yes, there were a few missteps made along the way.
That's generous, but okay.
And I'm being dead serious when I say it's my favorite movie.
But the fun thing is that.
Oh, thank God! I was like, oh no! Don't tell me they're gonna go through more of that. And I was like, I do not want this. I mean, like, I hope I don't get claimed on this stream.
I feel like all 4 films almost take the decades of Toho films and compress them down to 4, because the Toho film started very grounded and gritty and not psychedelic and weird by the time you get into like 7 and beyond. And so to trace the evolution from Jordan's in their mind to yours, which flat out gets bizarre in all the right ways. You know, we're to the point we're seeing over. Well, yeah, I was thinking how interesting that was that the series, because I don't think it was ever a conscious choice between any of us where we said, you know, it should evolve in that direction, and it just kind of naturally happened that way. And you know, like you guys.
Pause. Who's talking right now? Because I'm not looking at the screen.
It's Wingard.
Wingard.
Right
Okay.
Talking about how essentially the 4 films are like a collapse of the Showa films in the sense where you go from super serious to like super psychedelic. But I think like that comes off as more just Showa bias, because like once you leave the Showa series, he just says it gets psychedelic and then onwards, where like Heisei went serious and then not super serious but still serious and then ended, and then the Millennium series is serious,
an anthology series.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's like until you get the Final Wars, is like everything else just takes itself seriously.
I heard the second half, which was like it was a natural evolution, and I was like, oh wait, that sounded stupid. Who's talking? Is it Wingard or is it Doherty? And yeah, when you said Wingard, oh yeah, that makes sense. He would say something stupid like that.
You're not going to escape something like a kaiju fight, even if you try to take it as seriously as you can. When you stop and think about the concept of 2 giant monsters going at it, there is something inherently ridiculous about it.
Yeah, but like I would say,
granted, I say that, and then you have films like Revenge of Iris, which genuinely took it seriously. But why was that? Because they used it sparingly. The concept of 2 giant monsters fighting has its inherent ridiculous factor. Revenge of Iris was able to make it sparingly.
But then, like, I would also say that like Guardian and Legion also took itself seriously in that aspect too.
GMK also took itself seriously, and with the kaiju fights,
what do we
because
mean
of
by
how
taking
thematically
itself
meaningful
seriously?
it all was, pretty much.
Yeah, it's not so much about the amount, but rather the meaning behind each fight. Because let's look at GMK, for example. Each fight was meaningful because of what each monster represented and what the outcome of each fight was leading to. What was the name of the first monster that Godzilla fought? I forgot his name. Was it Baragon?
Baragon.
Okay, Baragon. Okay, Baragon was one of the defenders of the Earth, or at least, against Godzilla in particular. And he was, I presume, probably among the weak ones. Now, between Baragon and Mothra and King Ghidorah, those were the Guardians. Now, I will say, I find it quite contrived that Ghidorah took as long as he did to emerge from the ice. But besides all of that, each monster had a reason to fight Godzilla because they were in service of humanity. They were fighting in service of humanity to make sure that they live long enough, considering that past tribes used to worship them as gods. So it was kind of like a symbiotic relationship that they have between man and monster. So there is an inherent meaning, although it's the bare. I would argue that it's the bare minimum, but it's definitely there. Same with the Gamera Heisei era trilogies and Godzilla, and not Godzilla, and Gamera: The Revenge of Iris. We see an action scene between Gamera and another monster. I forgot which one it was, but it was in the middle of the city. Oh, it was the okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Gamera causes a lot of collateral damage. Now, there is inherent meaning to that because Gamera is usually very well-meaning and will protect humanity from all these monsters. That being said, that does not exempt Gamera from the responsibility for all the collateral damage that he causes. And people actually take into account the fact that Gamera causes collateral damage and people died because of that attack. And that attack happened completely out of the blue. There was absolutely no way anybody could have prepared for that attack. So in terms of meaning, like, as long as the fight is meaningful, then it doesn't matter how many times you can have a monster fight. The problem with Wingard's movies in particular is not so much the amount, although diminishing returns, basic economics. It's not. It's the problem isn't only the amount of times that fights happen. It's also like the meaning behind them. Like there is no inherent meaning to them. For example, in GXK, hold on. In GXK,
there is meaning to this fight. At least Scar King's fight.
I'm referring specifically to the fight between Godzilla and Egypt. No, the fight between Scar King, Godzilla, Shimo, and the Hollow Earth. Why? Because nobody takes any damage. First of all, nobody takes any damage. Secondly, none of the injuries that anybody would have received in that fight carry over to the next fight. So if you cut that fight entirely, nothing, like it wouldn't change the outcome of the film.
If you cut that fight entirely, you get a sequence where they just appear in Rio.
The most that the Hollow Earth sort of fight, kind of does is just kind of reduce the number of henchmen the Scar King has, but that's about it.
Yeah, but then the other thing too is that, like, if you think about it, the biggest issue that people had was that Scar King didn't feel like much of a threat, and since you have the fight in the Hollow Earth and all his henchmen are reduced, you essentially are just getting the back end of the fight in Rio, where if Scar King appeared in Rio instead of having his fight in the Hollow Earth and some of his minions popped up onto the surface, at least they feel like the stakes are raised and there's a little bit more tension because he actually succeeded with some help. So then Kong and Godzilla have to do more than just fight the two monsters.
Yeah, and appearing on Rio, cutting that scene, how does that necessarily affect the outcome of the movie? Because at the end of the day, all the other monsters will fight anyway.
Fair point.
Mm-hmm.
Characters, and then I felt like you kind of solidified sort of the reality that kind of like the Monarch, the huge bases and stuff.
I was going for fantasy.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
Once you did that, I was like, well, you can't step back and go back into Gareth's movie. You know what I'm saying? With like normal tanks and stuff.
Once you bring in the three-headed dragon or the giant moth, there's no putting the GD back.
No, exactly.
Okay, pause. Hold on. This is the exact same sentiment Zack Snyder had with Batman v Superman, and we all know how that turned out. Just because you introduce something that might be silly does not give you the permission to deviate from the movie that started everything. If the movie was directed by Michael Dougherty, if 2014 was directed by Michael Dougherty and he and Gareth Edwards followed up with King of the Monsters and it deviated, then I would have the exact same argument. There is no through line.
Okay, so which was the one who said that once you introduce the alien dragon? Okay, that was Gore. Oh.
Yeah, but the weird thing is that I would say King of the Monsters carries over 2014's tone more than GVK or GXK does.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't mean just the tone. I mean like the level of storytelling quality.
Mm-hmm.
2014 did not have that good of a storytelling quality at all.
I would say I would say
Rudy laughed. He couldn't take it. He couldn't take that.
He couldn't take my sheer insanity.
I think 2014 has good story quality, pretty much. It's just
okay.
a matter
I should have rephrased that. It has story quality. I think yes, plot wise, it's pretty narratively solid, but it doesn't feel as connected. It doesn't really feel as connected as something like KOTM does.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't feel more connected, but I will say I think writing-wise, 2014's first half, I think narratively has more weight than a lot of what Cottam does. But I think that maybe also has to do with the fact that a lot of it is treading similar water narratively to what what 2014 was doing.
Yeah.
But 2014's beginning, that first half is really solid.
Yeah. The entire first act, before everything up to after the Muto hatches, that's extremely well done. And then it feels like it takes a nosedive after the Honolulu sequence. Granted, it's still not a terrible movie. I still really enjoy it, but and like I said in Sea Monsters stream, it's my most respected Godzilla movie, but that's for reasons outside of what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Can you guys hear me well, or?
You sound good.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, because the microphone switched. Yeah, no, it's fine. Okay, so in terms of writing quality, I will definitely concede that there is plenty of issues with 2014. And there are also some issues in Console Island, although I would argue there are even less. So those two remain. But if we're talking exclusively Godzilla movies, then 2014 is still like at the top of the list. That, I mean, of course, it's not a perfect movie, but still at the top of the list. Now, what does Doherty say after the comment of putting the genie back in the bottle of the whole? You can't go back from that. Did he say anything afterwards, or?
I don't
no?
think so. No.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I mean, the tone for although the tone for King of the Monsters is somewhat similar to 2014 in some regards. There are some. It does lighten up a little bit, with several quips, with the Godzilla, that part, and pretty much that whole character. I forgot his name, but yeah,
Rick Stanton.
Just Rick Stanton. God, I hate him. And the other guy. The other guy saying gonorrhea instead of Ghidorah, and like that's supposed to be funny.
Coleman?
Oh yeah, Coleman. How do you remember these names?
It's my favorite movie ever made. I've seen it. I've seen it the most out of any kaiju movie.
Fair enough. I mean, it does have a good soundtrack.
Movie, so yeah.
It's got a good soundtrack, so you know what? I'll give you that.
Yeah, it does.
But yeah, I get a feeling that both Adam and Mike are gonna say the dumbest shit you've ever heard. But that's just me.
At least they're saying it as fans of what they're talking about.
But is it really worth anything if it's dumb?
No, as people, yes, I would say it's worth it, especially in comparison to people like Taika Waititi, who actively knew nothing about the characters, actively insulted both the audience and the title character, humiliating him on screen, and treating him like shit, all to prop himself up. I'd rather the director be an idiot but still enjoy the thing that he's making than misuse and humiliate the IP and the people who enjoy it.
Yeah. I don't know. This is just me, but like sorry to cut you off. This is just me, but although I do understand that sentiment and I respect it, I would rather just have none of the above. Just have the person both be a fan and actually know what he's doing. Like Henry Cavill with The Witcher. He is both a fan of the source material and actually knows how to write. Whenever Henry Cavill was involved in The Witcher, the series thrived. And whenever he was less involved with The Witcher, the series suffered. And then we got Blood Origins.
He wrote The Witcher?
He did. He didn't write it fully, but a lot of Geralt's lines were rewritten by him. So, like, Roach's death was done by him, and I think a few other lines he did. But a lot of things people remember for were because of him.
And then there's Warhammer.
To go into a little bit about the about how Michael Doherty kind of says some things that you could say were pretty telling. It's like, well, here's the thing, like just because someone could say something that's a little bit on the tisms, that doesn't mean that they can't write something like solid, pretty much. So.
Yeah, but we both know this is at Michael Doherty, though, so like we have that context already.
Well, depending on who you're talking to,
I'm not lambasting the guy's writing, dude. I'm not lambasting the guy's writing, dude. Actively made a film that not only is somewhat cohesive, yes, flaws and all, at least shines with passion. And frankly, I'm going into a movie, especially an IP-based one, looking at maybe if the writing's shit, at least I want to see if the director enjoyed making the film, or at least had wanted to tell the story. That's why I enjoyed things like Barbie, Oppenheimer, the Planet of the Apes trilogy. All of the directors in those movies actively enjoyed and wanted to tell those stories, even if there's so much mixed quality. That's why I can love GXK as much or more than -1, because even if GXK, yes, quality-wise is much worse than -1, I can at least recognize that Adam Wingard wanted to tell this story. Wanted to.
I mean, you can like it. Like, I'm not saying you can't like it. You can definitely fan, but like,
Yeah,
that's not really what we're talking about.
But like what you talk about, you said that Wingard was wanting to make the movie, but that could also be said about Yamazaki as well.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Both Wingard and Yamazaki at least wanted to make the films to tell the stories that they did.
And which is the better film of the two?
In which context? Better theatrical
Writing
experience
quality.
or the better movie overall? Okay, writing quality -1. Sure. Writing quality -1. Theatrical experience, GXK.
Well, what would you mean by theatrical experience in that case?
Like how much fun I had in the movie, how much I actively enjoyed the film. GXK is straight up the best theatrical experience I have had, the most fun I've had with any piece of media since Godzilla King of the Monsters. A part of that is the amount of passion and love that Wingard actually put into the story. Yeah, maybe it's not the best written or told Godzilla movie. It's still a fun film. It is still a movie.
Can I just say something here? Yeah, I mean, you could say like, yeah, like you had like a great theatrical experience. It's like, what if someone went into GXK? They pretty much wanted to like it, but their theatrical experience just involved somebody who would not shut the fuck up right behind them like I did. That's why I pretty much went and saw it a second time in theaters, at a discount, so that I could be able to properly digest the thing, so that I could even be able to really fully.
Then that's a completely fair enough reason to dislike it.
But I think
that's not the movie's fault. That's not the movie's fault.
No, it's nothing to do with the movie. Yeah, the theatrical experience is just like, what was your experience just going to the theater to see a movie, with that you wanted to see, or just a movie that you were curious about, or interested in seeing. So,
fair enough.
I mean. And here's the thing. I like the Wingard movies pretty much, but here's the thing. Not only do I think -1 is significantly better, but I like -1 more pretty much because.
I agree. I agree. -1 is significantly better, but I appreciate GXK a hell of a lot more because of what it did.
Wait, what did it do?
I'm not sure about that.
Giving me that experience. This is it's on a personal level. And even then, I would still say its genuine qualities do stand out in its own way. Telling a story on screen that focuses on the kaiju, finally giving the kaiju's characters themselves the spotlight. Well, yes, it does come at the cost of the weight, and I do feel like the weight should have also been given. What the hell? What the actual hell?
Oh yeah, I get this.
No, it's funny that you mentioned giving the kaiju's character, because funny enough, Godzilla's character in this movie has been completely assassinated, because he started out as a protector of humanity, and over time he's just become this raging
he wasn't
asshole.
Explicitly a protector
on that point.
He wasn't explicitly a protector of humanity.
No, not humanity. Nature. Sorry, nature. I meant nature. Like bringing the balance, whatever that's supposed to mean. But over time, he's just going on a titanicide run, killing any titans that come in his way. I mean, we got Scylla, we got Tiamat. Who knows what other titans he killed off screen? So, he's been, instead of being a protector of nature and being a guardian of, I don't know, balance or whatever. It's very esoteric. I don't know why they did that, but anyway, ever since then, he's just been an asshole.
I was more so talking under King Kong's context.
Oh, well, I was approaching it up from a context of Godzilla, because as far as character goes, Kong and Zuko and Scar King are the only titans that have any sort of character, not even Mothra. Mothra's just kind of... She was kind of a dog.
Dogs can still have characters, though, right?
Shimo, it feels like she doesn't have, really any character at all, outside of, being a dog. And then you're inferring the characteristics of a dog instead of the qualities of why we think a dog has character. But
in the context of
You go.
Yeah, in the context of like Scylla, like Godzilla, like killing her. I mean, that's like one thing because she was kind of attacking first. So Godzilla's just kind of responding. But yeah, Tiamat, I could definitely kind of
Tiamat. That I do agree with.
It's pretty excessive, especially it's excessive when you take into account the fact that the reason why he killed her is to just get into her lair so that he could get more and more powerful. When really, like when you take into account like he sucked up like energy from a power plant to where he looks like just kind of the blue version of his burning form from Cottom. It's like that should be more than powerful enough as is to just take out a bunch of apes.
Well, here's the other thing too, is that like the other problem too is that like in the commentary they're like, well, Godzilla's just kind of doing whatever, and it doesn't really matter what Titans are in his way. He feels like he needs to do what he needs to do, so that's the excuse they give for him killing Tiamat. But then the problem is that the pink form isn't actually that much stronger than his powered up form.
He stalemates Shimo. That's pretty much it.
The thing about that is the rationale I came to is that he's gearing. I think the nuclear power plant thing he did was to gear up for Tiamat, and because Tiamat is in a place where he needs to go to get what he needs to evolve. And Tiamat, either way, is going to be in his way. So
Wait, didn't Tiamat get defeated by Godzilla in a graphic novel? He did.
Yeah,
she did get defeated.
Yes.
And the other problem too is
but it was but they were pretty evenly matched to the point where she probably could have won. If
he was able to eradicate.
Yeah, but like after King of the Monsters, I don't think so.
No, if he was able to eradicate Tiamat the way he did in GXK, then he would have more than been able to have taken on Scar King and Shimo and Scarface Barbie.
On top of that,
was that like when it came to Tiamat in the comics, Godzilla was coming off of his depowering of Burning Godzilla, and he was actually weaker at that point because he was trying to find somewhere to rest, and he hadn't rested yet. So he beat Tiamat, who was fresh when he was weakened. And then alongside
that, he had just gotten out of a battle with Amhuluk and Scylla, and had just destroyed a human oil rig. So
correct me if I'm wrong.
He's gonna be tired.
In that battle, was Tiamat not winning until he got her onto land?
No, Tiamat was pretty much even, if not more, like had the upper hand while they were underwater, and Godzilla had to drag her onto land to exploit that advantage.
But also, Tiamat has been juicing up, right? Because she was in
this hadn't been established.
She was in the lair, and she was glowing the same color.
Yeah, but even if she was glowing the same color, we've already seen that Tiamat lost to a weakened Godzilla, so a more powered up Godzilla that's more powerful than him at his regular state is still going to be overkill.
I wouldn't even...
Not on top of that. Go ahead.
You don't even need to take the graphic novels into account. Like, just going off of the movies, Tiamat had absolutely no chance against that powered-up Godzilla, or at least, like, not as much of a chance as she would have, you know, whether he was, like, weakened theoretically or not. But the point is, like, he was already powered up before, more than powerful enough to take on Scar King and his forces before he even went to Tiamat. Tiamat was just an unnecessary casualty that he just made happen just because, you know, new design. We need a new design. We need an excuse.
No, but
that's really
on top of that, on the point of Scar King. Wait, on the topic of Scar King, if Godzilla, and we're assuming this is like his 2014 form, which is smaller and weaker than King of the Monsters and GVK and GXK Godzilla, he managed to defeat Scar King and Shimo and lock Scar King in his prison. So why does Godzilla need to power up to do the exact same thing, which he already succeeded? It's not established that it's narrow.
Easy fight.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but here's the thing: is that even if we say it wasn't an easy fight,
he still won.
Scar King, he won, but then he also won in his 2014 stage. We already know that Cottom Godzilla is more powerful than 2014 Godzilla on his own anyway. And we also have to accept the fact that Scar King is below base level Kong, who is still weaker than GVK Godzilla, who is still also weaker than KOTM Godzilla.
Though it also doesn't say that Scar King had Shimo at the time.
I mean, yeah, because he started the Ice Age, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
I don't know what like the chronology exactly when that happened, but I'm pretty sure that Godzilla was involved, and he did stop whatever it was that Scar King wanted to do, assuming Shimo was there.
Yeah, because Shimo didn't start the Ice Age on her own, clearly. So Godzilla did stop Scar King and Shimo at that point.
By the way, Zim, sorry to cut you off. Zim, recently on Twitter, I found out that at the very end of the fight, when Shimo looks up in wonder at the sky, apparently it's because Shimo only saw, this is her first time seeing the sky, but that doesn't make any sense considering that she would have to see the sky in order to create the Ice Age in the first place. So how would she not have been outside before? Adam Wingard, apparently. I don't know who the source of that was.
Also, real quick, this was apparently some concept art for -1 as well.
Oh, neat.
This looks like for the ending scene, or his quote-unquote death scene.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was like, looks like arm. So it's like, I'm not sure if it's like him blowing up and trying to regenerate or something. But here's apparently the original source. So, second set of early design drawings, various Godzilla designs are taken based on scenes from the movie. That's cool too. Because everyone needs to see this for a while.
I don't like that shin face. I don't like that at all. That doesn't look right.
As an affront to God and nature.
An affront to Godzilla.
Yeah.
No, it's not gonna let me zoom in.
I kind of like it from what I can see.
Yeah, Twitter's poo in this case, unfortunately. But
okay. All right. So point that I kind of want to make is like, like Ghidorah, who like we all have to like agree that Ghidorah is significantly more powerful than Scar King just on his own, pretty much. Like,
absolutely.
It needed help. And it took Godzilla going thermonuclear to the point where everything is like just melting around him after Mothra, sacrificed herself in order for him to defeat Ghidorah. What in God's green earth does Scar King even have a chance, of taking on Godzilla, even when he's like, even just half as powerful as he was at the end of Kodum?
Godzilla's just Goku at this point. It's not even Superman like Dr. Adolf Skippler said. Godzilla's just Goku at this point. He's got the power of the plot and anime on his side.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah, anyways.
How's it been with the fandom for everybody?
I love the MonsterVerse fans, and I love kaiju fans in general. For me, it's a
No,
slightly
you don't.
experience because
that's Venable, Robert.
Okay, never mind.
there is slight dichotomy between people who love the films that are self-described lovers of kaiju films and like Godzilla Toho films, and then people who just sort of like either King Kong or spectacle or just the idea of like giant monsters fighting, or like my movie has like a Harryhausen adventure, Mystery Island, slash platoon, if you want to call it. It's got a different sort of vibe. It's playing a different game than just fighting.
Like, okay, so you had a classic that you were going against, right? Like,
one of the best films of all time.
Yeah, and the 1954 Godzilla is also a classic. I consider it, in terms of Godzilla versus Kong.
King Kong versus Godzilla.
It's a low bar, right? Is that?
Well, listen.
Pause. He did not just diss Adam Wingard. This is why Gareth is the GOAT. I swear to God, I love that man.
But no, he's talking about
to be fair,
King Kong versus Godzilla. He's essentially trying to say that the first King Kong versus Godzilla isn't a tough act to follow, unlike 54.
Oh yeah, I know, but just honestly, hearing that is music to my ears.
Where it's like, it really just shows the what has happened due to a lack of actually getting to see the original 62, or just how a lack of understanding from that film, in my opinion.
Yeah. Do you think Gareth Edwards might have actually made a better version of Godzilla versus Kong? Because I feel
probably not. Probably not. He probably would have shrouded the entire point of that movie was getting to see Godzilla and King Kong fight, getting to see these two characters go at it after such a long time.
Actually, if I was answering this honestly, maybe, but I think that like it probably would have been a far more animalistic fight, because if we're gonna go with the premise that someone else had made a Godzilla film that already launched the universe, and Gareth was the one who got to do a like a monster movie and have King Kong fight Godzilla, I think he could do it, because he's already been able to do like action scenes without like smoke and smog. Like the assault on Scarif would be my biggest reference. Like I could totally see him doing a fight in the daytime with Godzilla and King Kong just going at it based on that. And even his stuff in The Creator, I could also say that he could do. Like, it would be very interesting, and I don't think that we would have had a lot of things like Kong using buildings to like do a drop kick or something. Or
we probably
like
wouldn't have gotten the choking bone. Him shoving.
Yeah, I don't think we would have gotten that either.
Which
Gareth Edwards can direct action scenes.
Look, say what you will about Gareth's style or GVK as a whole. You would be missing something if you don't do that. You would probably be missing something if you don't do something like that.
Which is
shoving the tree down the throat. That is one of the most iconic things about King Kong versus Godzilla, both the movie and as the matchup.
Man, can I ask why? Why is like that significant? Because I've always wondered. You know, there are people that say, "Oh, this movie is significant," but I fail to like. Whenever I ask, you know, all I get is just circular answers like, "Oh, because it's cool."
King Kong versus Godzilla. Why is it significant?
I mean like that specific scene of Kong shoving a tree down Godzilla's throat.
I don't know. Probably because it's just a fan favorite moment. It's because a scene. It's because it's a scene that people consider
as a whole.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's generated from somewhere. I want to know what that something is.
Like the substance to that moment.
Yeah, exactly. The substance. Like, what is that?
I guess it's part of another example of the film doing its own thing, of the film's entire like story.
I mean, GVK doing it is like a fun callback, pretty much, but it's kind of just a visual. Like Kong could literally have just used anything to do that, aside from like the bone from the axe and everything, to just call back to that moment in the original.
Yeah, because in Godzilla vs. Kong, it just feels like, oh, Kong did the thing from the movie that I recognize. I clapped. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, it's a fun moment, but there really isn't much to even say beyond that. That's really all there is.
Okay, it is an example of Kong's intelligence. Using something in his grasp, his tool use, using that to his advantage by choking out his opponent.
To counter an attack from Godzilla, pretty much.
Yeah, to choke him out and block the atomic breath.
Could you make the argument that he's already proven to be already intelligent, and that
it's another
examples?
But maybe it's another example of that intelligence, and even a more applicable
it shows that
example.
He learns and adapts in the fight.
Yeah.
No, like I know that part. Like I'm just asking, like, did he not prove himself already?
Sure, but it just
maybe he did, but maybe he wants to prove. Maybe he wants to prove himself a little bit more.
No, I wouldn't say that. I think it's consistent in his fighting style. It shows consistency.
Yeah, that.
I mean, it is consistent. It is consistent. With his intelligence. I mean, I guess I could give you that part, at least in GVK, but what about in the original King Kong vs. Godzilla? Could you say the same thing, or is there something else to it? Is there more to it?
I think that it could also work too, because King Kong's already seen that Godzilla's using his atomic breath, and he's used it on him a couple of times, so even though I think that it didn't work as well in the 62 one, I think that also makes sense in both versions for him to try to stop Godzilla from shooting his breath. Yeah. However, I would say that at least in GVK, it worked better than 62. So,
Yes.
Interesting. That's something I've always wanted to know, like how like things become iconic. Because, for example, if you look at Dragon Ball Z, there's the iconic Super Saiyan transformation. You can point to why it's significant. It's significant because the Saiyans had this legend of a legendary Super Saiyan that was pure of heart, and unlocked by rage, this transformation could bring forth a new age of, I don't know whatchamacallit, I don't know like the legend verbatim, but the idea is that a warrior, a purebred warrior, pure of heart, would unlock this transformation, and Goku was the culmination of that legend, and that's what made that moment so iconic, because the very creature that, because yeah, like that's what Frieza is. He's a creature. He's not human. He's a demon that destroyed the planet, and somehow encountered a being that survived the destruction of that planet, and that one being managed to become and fulfill that legend, and that legend came back to bite this demon in the butt. So that's what I would like. That's one thing that you could extrapolate from the Super Saiyan transformation, whereas in Godzilla versus King Kong, like the tree, I mean, from a purely like plot and character writing perspective, you could say
I would probably compare it to King Kong breaking the jaw of the T-Rex, being in that similar manner, using his strength against the brute wildness of the animal, using his intelligence to evade the animal, and using its weapon against it, using its own weapon against it. I'd probably put that in a similar ballpark.
At least in King Kong versus Godzilla, you had 3 iconic moments, because you have actually probably not 3, more like 4, because you have the dropkick from Godzilla that everyone remembers. You also have the tree scene with them shoving it down Godzilla's throat. Then you have him flipping Godzilla over his shoulder, and then him spitting him by his tail. Yeah,
like the most iconic scenes in Godzilla history are those, like the dropkick scene and the Godzilla using his atomic breath to fly. And this is like a fan favorite, a Godzilla sacrificing his life. Dance. You know, the victory dance, Godzilla, his death in Godzilla versus Destoroyah.
Yeah. Godzilla first use of the atomic breath like ever, burning and like melting the towers.
Yeah, some aspects of Final War, such as the fight with Kaiser Ghidorah. But yeah, I would argue that probably the most iconic moment that also is significant, like out of like the most iconic moments, the ones that is most significant is probably Godzilla's death in Godzilla versus Destoroyah, because a lot of the iconography that is generated purely comes from like absurdist visuals, like Godzilla's victory dance and Godzilla.
The fact that Godzilla doesn't really die like that. He's died, quote unquote, before, but he doesn't really go out in that sort of a way.
At that point.
Well, yeah.
But
even in comparison to the deaths after, even in comparison to the deaths that he has later, he doesn't go out in that sort of way. Like 54, it's tragic, but not because Godzilla's dying, but because because this could happen again. GMK, I'm gonna be real. GMK's is pretty abrupt. He just dies. Granted, it's a really well done death. I'll say that. Well, for the most part.
Wait, which death?
GMK.
Oh yeah. Okay. I think you said GXK, and I was like, wait, what? But no.
No, GMK.
Well, even then, the last shot in GMK is like his heart like beating again. So
yeah, but that's still but he still goes kaboom.
That's like the same thing as like -1, where I'd say like -1's probably the closest to emulating the Destroyer death, but even then, I would still say the Destroyer death is more visually like interesting.
Yeah, and it's not, and the -1 death is not carried by oh shit, Godzilla's dying. It's Shikishima's entire character that's carrying that scene.
But let us continue.
Yeah. Be upset that you say that, Gareth. So we got to backtrack from there. Well, no, but it's not as immediately iconic, let's say, as the original Godzilla and King Kong. But just the idea of King Kong versus Godzilla is almost bigger than the movie itself.
That's what I mean. That's exactly what I mean. That's exactly what I mean by it.
I'm gonna stop right there because I'm like, I am so scared of getting claimed.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Toho's got your number.
Toho's what's it called? It's not Toho. Toho's barely done anything to me. It's
Warner Brothers and Legendary pretty much would be going after you more so for
this.
But yeah, what Wingard said, that's actually really on point. Mm-hmm. Because I remember.
If you want to keep talking while I play through this, at least it's probably not going to get claimed if I do that.
No.
Yeah. Oh, you got lagged out. I'll lag that again.
But I remember Up From the Depths did a whole video about the importance of Godzilla versus King Kong and these two characters actually going at it. It's sort of I don't remember exactly what he said. I need to rewatch that video. But I think comparing it to like that biblical one matchup, I've said it.
Which
I've said
matchup?
It, King Kong versus Godzilla as a matchup is.
You said a biblical matchup, like where you specifically
like biblical level, almost biblical in terms of status, as Wingard said. Yeah. This is
like a David versus Goliath type story.
Yeah. I would argue the only other Godzilla quote unquote matchup that has a similar level of like iconicity is Godzilla versus Gamera, which has not happened yet, obviously, outside of very specific examples. But even then, the fact that King Kong vs. Godzilla still carries that much legacy, still has that status, I think that is something to be recognized.
I think it also has to do to the fact that you're dealing with. Did his thing? Yeah, I think his thing. You just lagged him out again. When it comes to King Kong versus Godzilla, you have this thing where you have two different monsters, one from the east, one from the west, both the forebearers of the giant monster genres in their
two of the most iconic giant monsters in history. The fathers of the genre.
But then you also have like you're talking about with the biblical thing. It definitely sort of coaches itself in a lot of mythological trappings of a human, or at least a human-like character facing off against a dragon. And
like David versus Goliath, as was compared.
Well, I'd say less David versus Goliath, but more like Yahweh versus Leviathan, Tiamat versus Marduk versus Tiamat, Baal versus Wotan,
Zeus versus Typhon,
St. George and the Dragon.
Could you guys go back a little bit, because I missed a lot.
In terms of what we're talking about, or the actual video, because we're still technically on footage.
No, what you guys were talking about in response to what Adam was there.
Wingard was discussing Godzilla versus Kong as a matchup being this sort of biblical-esque thing.
Well, it's just
God. Oh, you keep okay.
No, let me explain real quick. Because these are two of the biggest movie monsters going at it. That is the entire reason why the original movie did as well as it did. Why the original movie was as fondly loved as it was, because these were the two cinematic titans of the time, two of these biggest, most iconic movie monsters in history going at it. I know that,
but why call it biblical?
No, he didn't call it specifically biblical. We said it was.
He compared it to something like that.
No, we can go back. No, that was us saying it's biblical.
Don't say it's biblical, and because biblical implies, what was it? Because I have a Bible right next to me. I feel okay. Biblical. Because what do you mean by biblical exactly? How are you using that word?
Like legendary.
Larger than life.
Larger than life. Something on the comparable level to the myths.
Myths. Were there versus fights and myths between different times? I don't remember. Like I feel like a Zeus versus Typhon.
Yeah, we've been naming those.
Yeah, we made that comparison, but let me just go over specifically what Wingard said.
Exactly. There. Well, no, but it's not as immediately iconic. Let's say as the original Godzilla and King Kong, but just the idea of King Kong versus Godzilla is almost bigger than the movie itself.
Yeah, that's what he specifically just
That's
said.
what
It
he
was bigger than the movie than itself.
Oh, okay.
Iconic characters.
That's what he meant.
You mentioned as a comparison David versus Goliath. The whole point of that story is that David is not anybody. He's just a shepherd boy, and he believed in God enough to face off against a giant and managed to kill him. That's not.
That's why I said that Godzilla.
It's more so in reference to scale. An underdog facing something higher above his power.
Yeah, like the David.
Yeah, but is King Kong really an underdog?
Definitely. Yeah, I would say
the fight itself, absolutely.
GVK, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
GVK, absolutely. King Kong versus Godzilla, 50-50.
Okay, no, because with King Kong versus Godzilla, I was like, really? He's an underdog? But no, I mean GVK obviously, but
it's 50-50 in King Kong versus Godzilla. He does have his underdog moments, and Kong actually
an underdog in '62 because Kong needed 2 major power-ups to actually face off against Godzilla, because they actually cut this out in the American version, but in the Japanese version, after he gets through the power lines in Tokyo and gets knocked out, they state that due to absorbing the electricity that you do see in the American version, that he should be powerful enough to take on Godzilla, which is why when they fight on Mount Fuji for that first part, it is closer, but Godzilla still has the upper hand, and why he needs that second power-up to actually end up winning.
When the lightning hits him,
when God gives him strength.
When Zeus was like, "I got you, homie."
when Thor just said, like, "Here, here, take the senzu bean," or something like that.
Eat the senzu.
I'm terrible at analogies or this kind of thing. Ah, shit.
I mean, larger than life. I mean, I guess from a purely cinematic standpoint, I can kind of understand it, but from a literary perspective, no.
That's a bit of an
I think he was mentioned. I think he was referring to a cinematic standpoint.
Yeah, but I think also too is that even from a literary perspective, I think that honestly the thematic depths you could go to with King Kong fighting Godzilla haven't been actually explored to the depth that they could.
What are they exactly? Because I feel like I could trust you more on that front because the most I've gotten in the fandom.
You could tie into the fact that both of them have been hurt by mankind in their own way.
Honestly,
and as such,
I wouldn't
representing
do that
different
angle,
sides of that.
Because I think that in a way with Godzilla, you're dealing with a creature that is completely divorced from humanity, has no affinity for humanity, wants to completely destroy humanity for what's been done to it. Where with Kong, I think that because people really want to stray away from Kong dying at the end of his movies, and in a movie where he's fighting Godzilla, you don't have to have him die. But I think that with Kong, because Kong naturally has more affinity towards humans, but we still can't understand Kong in the same way that we understand people. He does fill a similar role to a pagan god in the sense where we have to call on him to stop Godzilla. And I think that you do get some of that in the 62 film, not as much in the MonsterVerse film, really. And I think that, if anything, without having to kill one or the other, ultimately, if there's anything that's going to be able to stop Godzilla or at least empathize with him more than a human can, it's going to be another monster like Kong. And I think that at the end, if I had to do a Godzilla versus King Kong movie and I had to not kill one of them, I think ultimately, similar to what you get at the end of GVK with Godzilla accepting Kong, but not having to worry about Mechagodzilla being there and Kong essentially dying at the end of his fight. So essentially you get the fight in Hong Kong, and then the acknowledgement after the fight with Mechagodzilla would be where I would go if I was giving you a sort of early pitch for a King Kong versus Godzilla fight.
Zim, I have a question. Would that analysis be extracted from the movie itself or from the meta?
I would
the overall
say that's extracting
zeitgeist.
from, or like what I just said, I would say that's extracting from King Kong. That would be pulling specifically from King Kong 33, King Kong Escapes 2 to a degree, and Godzilla 54, just on their own. If I was
Okay,
doing
fair enough. Fair enough, because like where I would go in when writing a Godzilla movie is to have King Kong be an agent that forgives humanity for its sins, whereas Godzilla would be one that punishes. So one is one forgives and the other punishes, and Godzilla and Kong cross paths, and one is the unstoppable force and the other is the immovable object. And in this particular case, Kong has to convince Godzilla to learn forgiveness. Now, granted, that would require a level of writing quality that is only present in, not in the room in which Adam Wingard currently resides in, but
it would be whatever room Yamazaki's in.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, I think the other things when it comes to forgiveness, like I would probably say that like I don't think Kong should be forgiving of humanity. I think there should still be animosity there because I honestly think Kong works better when he's closer to his 33 roots than like his later incarnations. And I think like forgiving humanity is closer to like a Mothra, which I think like a Godzilla vs. Mothra movie doing something like that works better.
I'm pretty sure Godzilla. I'm pretty sure the original Godzilla vs. Mothra did something like that.
Yeah, it does. That's
Mothra
what I'm saying. Yeah, no, it's the first one because they call on the natives to ask Mothra for help, but it's more of the fact that the natives are apprehensive, and you see their feelings, or at least what you could extrapolate to be what are Mothra's logical conclusions to that, instead of being the bigger thing, literally.
Even then, I wouldn't say like forgiveness is entirely passive either, because one can forgive but not forget. For example, like Kong can absolutely forgive humanity, but that doesn't necessarily mean he'll forget what they did to him, and that doesn't necessarily mean he wouldn't take measures into his matters into his own hands. Should that?
I would say that's him. Like, he doesn't go on the path of revenge.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, I mean, in the 05 film, he definitely does.
Yeah, like one thing is like punishment, and another thing is like revenge. Because like punishment is earned, revenge is just sudden, just out of nowhere, out of the blue, violent, over the top, unnecessary, and overall just malicious. Because it like vengeance comes from like a malicious intent to recreate the evils that were done to you, whereas punishment is purely for educational purpose, to like learn through pain what pain you cause to others, and to understand that you should never do that kind of thing again. Like that's forgiveness is not passivity. Same way pacifism does not necessarily mean you're not going to take arms should the need arise. So that's where that's the angle that I was going for with Kong when I said, he's the more forgiving side. Mothra can definitely also fit that role, but given her nature, she's definitely more of like the maternal side, whereas Kong would be more of the paternal side of things. The strict not authoritarian, but the strict authority. Yeah, the strict figure of authority. But again, that would require a level of expertise in writing that is not present in whatever room Adam Wingard is in. So,
like, okay, Godzilla won, and this isn't just me being biased for my boy, but I mean, sure, Godzilla, he's got the upper hand. He knocks him out.
Strange thing when you get to
no.
The end of it, these paratroopers. Bottom line is,
I just wanted to turn that off. There we go.
But bottom line is, Godzilla would be toast if Kong didn't then come and dismantle.
But that's a different fight. Listen, don't feed into
it's
that.
It's all part of the same fight, man.
Do you know how much I have to deal with online, Jordan?
You can't be like, in the middle of this like war we were fighting.
Listen,
in the trenches,
they had a fight. And Godzilla had a fight.
This like
that's
tank
a different
brigade.
Fight.
This tank brigade.
Doherty is just getting ready for a debate. Let's go.
No, like it's all the same thing. So
let them fight.
It's like me getting ready for a debate, for Cotton, pretty much.
How do we?
Garrett said, "Let them fight. Let's go."
I think that like Kong proved that like this kind of niche kaiju, strange thing that like a lot of people had love for, like now that there's sort of the four of them and people sort of see what this was, I do think that's bringing even more attention to it. So I would just hope that it continues and they continue finding, if not one of the directors here, that they keep finding other directors to kind of keep bringing their spin and their voice to it.
I think honestly, what's it called? I hope right here. 1 second. He's like,
and their
he's like,
one of the directors. I would just hope that it continues and they continue finding, if not one of the directors here, that they keep finding other directors to kind of keep bringing their
like
spin.
purely based on body language, and like his foot was like shaking a little bit, but it starts shaking a lot when he like does one of the other directors in this room. I would love if Jordan Vogt-Roberts came back. If like him saying that was like a hint that like, hey, I would love to do another MonsterVerse movie.
Yeah.
You know what I think they should do? What I think they should do is assign specific directors to direct specific kinds of movies. Gareth Edwards could do a Godzilla movie. Vogt-Roberts could do a Kong movie. Doherty, God forbid,
maybe let other
makes a
people
Mothra
try
movie.
out with Godzilla. I've been genuinely interested to see someone like Christopher Nolan give it a shot.
That's the thing, is that honestly, I would love to see that, but I wouldn't want him to have to like adhere to the MonsterVerse's mythology, because considering how much has already been changed between comic shows and the movies, I would rather him just be like, hey, can I get like Godzilla, or can I get another Toho monster and do a solo film on its own, please? Literally, like, I would love that.
Or even just another monster in general, like maybe Gamera or Nemesis.
By the way, Quentin Tarantino has actually shown interest in making a Godzilla movie, but he would not adhere to the MonsterVerse at all. He said he wanted to put the god back in Godzilla, according to him.
Like, I would love to see Tarantino do a Godzilla movie.
Godzilla,
Like,
stop the bullets!
It would be super interesting if like Nolan got to turn like a super obscure Toho D-lister into like a major success. Like, he takes Varen and does like a Varen trilogy and actually
No, he does that, but with the giant condor.
He just makes the giant claw. Just like, he just goes all out like a giant claw remake.
Tarantino doing a Godzilla movie, I can just imagine. Like, Godzilla, stop them bullets! This is truly a miracle! Let's acknowledge this!
And their voice to it.
One day we're all going to be, this is how we know we're sort of friends for life, because one day, no matter what happens, we're all going to be on stage like 30 years from now, like on our deathbeds.
Or holograms.
Yeah. And there's going to be like a whole, and now, Godzilla versus the Smug Monster director, like, going to be like, yeah. It felt like a unique club, but I feel like it's not going to, I mean, why would it end, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I think the through line of it is that they're not just monsters; they're characters, and we want to see where their journey is going, and also as special effects evolve, it just allows you to lean more and more into that, and I think like as far as I can tell, where the series is going is that I think that there's going to be just more and more runtime with the monsters themselves being able to just be monsters and do monster stuff, which is what. For me, when I think about these films, like when I was a kid, you want to see the monsters do things, and you have your own ideas about what's going on in their head, and that's what's cool about it. The monsters can't talk literally, but they still have kind of defined personalities in their own way. But there's also still a level of interpretation that the audience has with the monsters themselves, and I think that's really exciting to see kind of roll out and to be able to play with.
He says that, and then Godzilla versus Gigan exists.
So I'm gonna tell you right now, Black, you're gonna be super surprised. I'm gonna have to steel man this super hard for you, but I kind of agree with what he's saying. But I'm not sure if he can actually pull it off himself, because what I think is that
I would say he did succeed on King Kong's end, successfully making King Kong's character actually like make him feel like a proper character.
Yeah.
Same with Skarking. Skarking, even if he didn't live up to the
he lagged out of existence
still
again. Bro got that McDonald's Wi-Fi.
Did you know he wasn't in the room when he said that?
Vic,
dude,
I literally am on the other screen. I cannot see anything. The only reason I know that he left was because F29 in chat said it. I've been monitoring from my other screen.
He also left immediately after Wingard said the monsters are characters. Like, it lagged out right when he said that.
Yeah.
1 sec.
Oh my god. It's like his internet doesn't want him to be here.
his internet boofed on him. But if he gets back in, or if he doesn't get back in tonight, but he hears this, what I think is that with Godzilla with any Godzilla film moving forward, if they're going to be having less focus on the human characters and more focus and more runtime on the monsters, what I think could happen is that, honestly, if you could have a tighter human script with more thematic through line to it, but you have less screen time, meaning essentially you're condensing a character story through like the lens of what could almost be the film equivalent of a short story, but you have it really tight, really well done, but you have more time to give the monsters character, and that's still pretty well done, then I think you could have both the best of both worlds, in a sense where you're having strong human characters when they are on screen, more monsters, the monsters get more writing to them, and we get to see more fights. Like that would be like, I think
we
that
get to know
work.
more, or hell, like I would like to see a movie go the Godzilla Dominion approach, where basically no humans involved, but I would love to see basically a day in the life story of one of the Titans. Doesn't even have to be Godzilla. You could probably do something
like I wish they did. What's it called? That's one of the things where I wish that instead of the Skull Island anime, that we just got a monster story that was like primal with the Titans.
Yeah, I would. Oh god, the Skull Island anime hurts so much. I would say I was looking forward to that so much.
Yeah, I would definitely say like we could definitely hope that the next Monsterverse movie would like take like what people have been saying as far as like the non-vocal storytelling as far as like how the monsters are done, and just kind of like run with it and have something pretty solid. But considering that David Callahan is writing the new movie and he has a very questionable resume, let's just say, we can only hope.
I'm just gonna see where he does, because like questionable is better than nothing. It's better than shit.
Calling back to what you were saying, Zim, about the tighter human script to go along with more screen time for the monsters, I would argue that I think Adam Wingard does that well enough in the movie with GSK, because I found that you still have that through line with Gia's story and I think there's a bee in your room, Zim.
No, there's a hornet. We're gonna have to sting that point.
Oh, I thought that was an Enderman.
I have not played Minecraft in years.
I thought that was you just lifting the dick and just like,
I feel like an old man anytime someone brings up Minecraft. I remember when I was a kid when Minecraft
Well, I guess my very existence makes you feel old.
You make me feel like an old man every time you come. I'm only in my 20s, but you make me feel even old. You make me feel like I'm in my 30s or my 40s.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I think the human story in GXK can work on its own without the monster side of things. Granted, I think you still need a few more beats in there to make it whole, but I think on its own it can work really well as the story of
I have a feeling that you and I are going to be debating on that at some point. Once I get around
I don't think any of the exposition and dialogue is serviceable enough to justify the human story. And the problem with the human story is that the main sort of conflict that they run into was never really in any doubt, because Eileen's entire feeling when she sees Gia with her own people is that she thinks that Gia is gonna leave and be with them because they are her people, and she essentially comes to that assumption all on her own, when it's not like Gia's ever had a feeling like she never felt like she was she felt like she was alone or different from Eileen. Like she always felt like she was family with Eileen. So her being like, don't you know, you were, I feel like I'm home when I'm with you. I feel like we're family. That felt like that was always going to be coming, because it was built off of an assumption that was already incorrect, and we as the audience knew it was going to be incorrect. Where if there was some conflict between the two, and it sort of cooled down, and then you had the scene with Gia being with her own people, and maybe there was like awkward stares between the two, then at least then I could have bought into the fact that maybe Gia might be like, hey, we're cool now, but this is kind of where I have to be, and Eileen sort of accepts that. But based on how it's written, I was never in any doubt that Gia was gonna stay with Eileen, and like once the conflict with the monsters was resolved, that everything was gonna go back to normal.
Yeah, there could have been something there, but they just, there was something there. They had potential, but
I don't really have much of an issue with Eileen's entire, the entire reasoning for her character in that movie, mainly because it's from a parental perspective. Yeah, fair. She's basically not belonged for how long has it been since they found her?
Let's just say
a few years.
At least a decade, roughly a decade. She's
probably not
been out of place.
No, not a decade.
Well,
probably maybe like half a decade, like maybe 5 years.
But like for half a decade, she's been basically out of place. She's felt alone. She's had these bizarre visions, and now she's finally reconnected with her people. She's finally found someone who understands who she is, and
I just kind of
she's
think
happy
that
in the position. So it's not that out of the question for someone to assume that maybe she'd want to stay.
Yeah, but like in like a realistic scenario, I understand that, but I don't think that the film with the runtime given justifies that plot.
It doesn't. It just doesn't find the time to really, flesh
because
it out
at least
all that much.
in the hypothetical that you're presenting, there is more on-screen time that could be given to justify that.
Yeah.
In like an actual setting. But we don't get flashbacks. We don't get too many in the way of comments outside of what is directly happening within like the span of maybe a few days, a few weeks, because the visions obviously haven't been happening for that long. These only have happened recently. So like you're dealing with like a hyper specific instance with a hyper specific problem that needs to be solved in a hyper specific way to lead to this. And had like Gia not actually been the key to everything in the movie, and like maybe there's a little bit more in the way of conflict between the two, that I could see that being justified more. But with what we have in the film, I don't think so.
I would say it is there well enough, because we do start off with her being more alone and distant, and then we get her having the visions and being frightened by them, as well as with the conversation of Eileen and the teacher.
Yeah,
would you like to see at least
and then we have more scenes where she's even more frightened, and she herself expresses how she feels distant, that she doesn't belong, and is frightened by the visions. But as we go along and she finds the clues of her people, and then eventually gets to them, we see her being more expressive and lively, and Eileen picks up on that, and she has worries. I think it's a very parental worry of their children leaving them for something that the parents may see as a better life. So that's where that conflict comes in.
Yeah, but then like also the other problem too is that in the film, Gia felt fine around Eileen, and like the only instances we see of Gia is her literally being on Eileen all the time and being around her all the time, whereas she feels out of place because she's doing things in a pretty normal setting for us, but for her, she's not near her parental figure as much anymore, and she's around people who don't necessarily understand her like Eileen does. And the only time she feels like she doesn't belong is because of the visions when she's with Eileen, and she never really like challenges the fact where she doesn't feel like she's home with Eileen. So, like, contextually within the film and what the film directly gives us, it doesn't really justify itself.
Yeah, if we had like a scene where we see like Gia like in a normal day, pretty much,
but like a normal day around other people.
Yeah, pretty much under your average day with Gia, pretty much. Like you what that is like, as opposed to just like getting right into her having the visions just right from jump.
I agree.
But as far as like what me and Vic would potentially debate on, it's less about the characters pretty much, or how the character story is done. It's kind of more just the logistics of what the characters like exposit in their side of things, as far as like the plot, what have you. That's what I would mainly be debating about. But I gotta go in like at least a few minutes, pretty much.
Gotcha.
It's getting
Yeah,
late.
me too. I'm probably gonna head to bed in a little bit. Maybe once we finish this. We're 2.5 hours into the stream, and we haven't even gotten to the main video.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, these were all adding the extra stuff was just sort of something I came up on the fly because I was able to start a little earlier.
Yeah, and someone reminded you of it, I think. So yeah, and we had the Gigabash conversation.
And like they all kind of have these like very tragic, bizarre backstories, and there's something to be said for that. And the more that can kind of get milked, in a way that isn't just like, wow, these two giant things punching each other, but there's like pathos and tragedy and beauty and weight to all of them.
He really wants to do that kind of story. Look at his foot. He really wants to do that.
Yeah, I really, bro. Yeah.
And
dude's like hyped. He really wants to do more of this. I wish he got another chance.
Yeah, I'd love to see him and Doherty take a second crack. Hell, I would like to see Edwards do it again. Maybe bring him back for the end of the Monsterverse.
I can understand if Edwards didn't want to do it because I guess he didn't have the best time making Rogue One, but Doherty and Vogt Roberts at least, definitely.
Yeah, Doherty definitely looks like he'd be interested. Vogt Roberts man's shaking his leg here. He wants
just give the man the director's chair for GX3, please, Legendary, for the love of God. The man is killing him to not have it.
Or give him another King Kong movie, damn it.
I personally, if I had to make all these guys come back, I would love to see Jordan Vogt Roberts as the director, the SFX coordinator. I would love to see go to Gareth. And then I would like to see Doherty working as a co-writer, not the lead writer, at least a co-writer working on the mythology and stuff. Because I think that mythology-wise, he has good ideas. His execution isn't necessarily the best. But I think that if there was someone who's, if Vogt Roberts had, one of the people he had working for Skull Island as the lead writer with Doherty essentially providing a world building a consultancy and essentially helping that department.
The writers for Kong Skull Island are Max Borenstein, who also did Godzilla 2014, and John Gayton, I think is his name.
Yeah, and here's the thing. He did Whiplash. That's not Whiplash, Nightcrawler, sorry. And Nightcrawler is one of my favorite sci-fi, non-monster films.
He also did that 2017 Power Rangers movie, pretty much.
Yeah, I think he co-wrote
what that may be worth to some people.
Because actually, we can
I thought that movie was fine. It was okay.
It was okay. It was okay. It's a server. It's not particularly noteworthy on its own, but it's a serviceable Power Rangers adaptation.
Oddly enough, when the Power Rangers were doing the Power Rangers stuff, that's kind of when the movie sort of dipped for me. It's before that, it's just like, oh wow, I actually really like these characters, kind of.
Yeah.
What's
and then
it called?
And then we get to the scenes where Rita captures them and tries to kill
Dan
one
Gilroy.
of them.
Yeah, and
Dan Gilroy didn't do the Power Rangers.
With some of the most blatant marketing product placement for something like Krispy Kreme I've ever seen in a movie, where they actually use Krispy Kreme as a plot point.
Yeah, no, what's it called? Sea Monster. You're thinking of John Gatton's. I'm thinking of Dan Gilroy.
Yeah, John Gatton. I said John Gatton.
Oh, then that's my fault.
I called him John Gayton. Maybe I just got his name wrong.
Here's the other thing. I would love to see Gilroy come back because not only did he do Skull Island and he did Nightcrawler, he also did Real Steel, which is really good. The Born Legacy, which is really good. And he did 3 episodes of Andor. This man, I think, could be the best writer. And I think he is the best writer on a technical level out of any of the Monsterverse writers. And I think that if he was lead writer, he could do something really good.
Yeah. You could definitely tell a little bit with some of the human drama in that.
You could definitely, what Sea Monster said. But I just think it's really funny that he's just shaking his foot. I want to. Okay, I actually want to do this. Please let me do this. Please let me do this. I'll do anything. Let me do this.
Man was so hungry for it.
I can't blame him.
Thank you for coming to Monster Talk today. That was a good wrap up.
I would love for them to do that again, but I think they only did it because it was the 10-year anniversary, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, it's fitting for a 10-year anniversary. Having the guys who worked on what is currently
oops, Inception. And Black came back. There you go.
Hey, Black.
Yep.
Shalom,
Hello,
Shalom.
Black.
Hello?
Brax.
You there?
Okay, well, I think it's time for me to just head off, pretty much.
You gonna pass out?
Yeah, peacing out, pretty much.
Yeah, I'll
Alright,
probably
awesome.
head out. I'm probably gonna head out as well.
Y'all know where to find me. I don't need to do much showing here. I mean, I'll probably be back for the next stream.
Hey, there you go. Well,
A little late for it, but I'll have something to say about that Big Joel video. Or what is it? Big Josh? Big Joel?
Big
whatever
Joel.
It's called. Big Joel.
Big Joel.
Yeah. I can't wait.
Yeah.
See ya.
Yeah, take care, dude.
Alrighty, man.
And,
you have a good one.
And I'm probably gonna head out as well. It is 11:40 for me, so
Yeah, and it's 1:40 where I am.
Yeah, you guys know where to find me as well. I usually leave comments on the streams, but Minecraft World 1954 for my channel, Minecraft World 1954 for my YouTube. Tomorrow I plan to release the final episode of my podcast, which is about Titanicus. So look out for that.
There you
Anyways,
go. Awesome.
Take care, guys. Peace.
Have a good one. Peace. And then there were 3. And now we get to Godzilla redefining a monster. I'm gonna I'll do 1.7 times speed for this.
Folks, we're experiencing some moderate Godzilla-related turbulence at this time, so I'm gonna go ahead and ask you to put your seatbelts back on.
Over the last 20 or so years, the Western world has managed to squeeze out exactly 2 great Godzilla movies, and neither Pacific Rim nor Colossal are about Godzilla. Other than that,
I don't think Colossal is that good, for anyone wondering. Its story is incredibly convoluted.
I liked it. I remember. I've only watched it once, but a while ago.
I saw it once, and then I tried to see it again, and I just couldn't. Like, the story is... It's not something I'm super... Like, it's super important and relevant to certain people, not to myself. And I think that, like, that on its own could work, but when you have to deal with the mechanics of the monsters and the robot in that world, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and it kind of undermines the story that it's trying to tell.
Hasn't been kind to the titular behemoth. First, we had Roland Emmerich's rain-soaked effort giving it the college try. With further intellectual consideration, Rage Against the Machine used the soundtrack as a soapbox with which...
The only time I will defend 98, and this will be the only time I'll do it on stream, and Rage Against the Machine, literally some of the biggest hypocrites in the music industry ever. And yeah, like the film, even though I consider it to be one of the worst things to happen to Godzilla, Emmerich wanted to make the film a certain way, and he definitely had passion, which is why I don't consider passion to be super relevant when discussing a movie, because I think that people can be passionate about anything that doesn't say anything about their quality. But we'll specifically look at the lines here: Godzilla, pure motherfucking filler to keep your eyes off the real killer. Cinema, simulated life, ill drama, forthright culture, Americana. Like, it's so vapid criticisms from people who've made so much money and live such opulent lifestyles that they really don't actually understand what it is to be regular people nowadays. So yeah, you like keep 98's name out your fucking mouth is what I'd say. But
I taught him everything he knows, audience.
Get the off my stream. Get the off my stream.
I've reached him.
No. 98 is still trash, but I will defend it against Rage Against the Machine. Rage Against the Machine is so stupid.
To criticize the film itself, and nobody seemed to notice. 2014 sees some cityscapes getting smashed again for about 9 fully lit minutes. The rest of the runtime is a vacuum of desaturated smog, the most boring central character in modern action cinema, and to its credit, a Halo jump sequence that's up there with the most impressive moments of the entire convoluted canon. Godzilla can...
It's funny that he doesn't even bring up the first act at all, but That like it's interesting that he only brings up the Halo jump when there actually are a lot more pretty good elements to that movie besides just the freaking Halo jump. But
what did I miss?
we finished the end of the Monsterverse panel, which wasn't too much else to discuss, and now we're going on to In and Out Frames thing on Godzilla.
Okay, what has he said so far?
Essentially, that 2014 wasn't that good. The only things that are worthwhile about it is some of the fights and the Halo jump. Nothing much else. 98's trash, but he uses it to prop up Rage Against the Machine, and Rage Against the Machine are cringe. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's already indicative of what's to come, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Of the monsters tried to address the lopsided lifelessness of the first two attempts with a go broke or go home commitment to rock'em sock'em fisticuffs. It's the most instantly gratifying of the three, but it's not actually good. A blurred cacophony of confusing edits, hard to parse action, and one of the worst blockbuster screenplays to ever carve up the English language. This hat trick of disappointments may have dampened public faith in the ongoing Warner Brothers Monsterverse, but over in Japan, there's never been a more rich, rewarding, and intellectually challenging time to love this big charcoal chungus. And it's all thanks to 2016's Shin Godzilla, a satirical stab at the heart of...
I love how he's like, one sec, we'll go back.
May have dampened public faith in the ongoing Warner Brothers Monsterverse, but over in Japan, there's never been a more rich, rewarding, and intellectually challenging time to love this big charcoal chungus. And
there's been other times, like 84 or GMK.
He's right in saying that it is intellectually challenging because Singular Point was very intellectually challenging to the point where I feel like I need a PhD to understand that.
I don't think
series.
Singular Point was out when this film had been made because this came out. Yeah, this video is 4 years old.
I'm making a joke.
Gotcha. Yeah, February 10th of 2020. Oh, maybe Singular Point had come out by then. I think no, it had not.
It's all thanks to 2016's Shin Godzilla, a satirical stab at the heart of bureaucratic purgatory. Yes, I am placing a nuclear theropod that breathes atomic heat rays in with the likes of Dr. Strangelove and Catch-22. While the bare bones of the plot are...
I think if you need to say that you're comparing Godzilla to greater movies, then I think you're doing Shin Godzilla as well as 54 a disservice, but okay.
Whereby an atomic giant appears from the ocean to smash up Japan and teach us all an allegorical lesson about nuclear weapons, the meat and marrow here is anything but fantastic.
I have a question.
Yeah, what's up?
Okay, so apparently that movie taught us a lesson about nuclear weapons. What was the lesson?
In Shin?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say, Shin does not talk about nuclear weapons at all, because Godzilla's even the product of nuclear weapons in this one, it's dumping of nuclear waste, so there's that.
Disaster film structure. With Independence Day, the weighty discussions and expository waffling discourse serve as the lymphatic system by which the explosions can be delivered without just making a supercut of shrapnel and fire. In Armageddon, the presidential short-sightedness and militaristic overreach are brief obstacles to be overcome in the sprint towards salvation. Here, the dialogue-heavy bickering in-betweens are the tense, gasping hand-over-mouth bulk of the runtime. In a bold rejection of the sycophantic nationalism that plagues the genre, Shin Godzilla depicts the Japanese government as a lumbering, bewildered monster. Behind-the-scenes maneuverings, backdoor dealings, and hair-pulling administrative failures are far more devastating than gamma rays and iconic growls. It's part Tower of Babel, whereby mass hierarchical confusion effectively halts all relief efforts, heart-blind adherence to the ill-informed decisions of authority figures. The message here...
Yeah, but also, like, what Shin Godzilla is going for is definitely different from Independence Day. I definitely say Shin Godzilla is better than Independence Day, but trying to compare the two is pretty ill-informed, honestly. Like, I would say if there's any, like, off the top of my head right now, at this point, at 1:46 in the morning, like, I would say in terms of, like, a Western film, like, All Quiet on the Western Front, the older one and the newer one, are closer to something to what Shin Godzilla is trying to do. And even then, like, Anno's work was never anywhere close to, like, Independence Day or Armageddon. It just never was his style, and trying to compare the two, it feels disingenuous to the American side, especially because he's talking about, like, the American propaganda, when it's really ironic that he's saying that when so many people were saying that Shin Godzilla was Japanese nationalist propaganda.
Here is inefficiency as the right.
Thank you, Kairu, for mentioning the fact that Black lagged out again.
I'm gonna kill this phone, I swear to God.
I'm gonna assume that anytime you're just super quiet, it's because you just lagged out.
I hate this. I'm just lying down in hopes that the phone doesn't bug out.
Okay. I'm just gonna, like, literally, I'm just gonna keep playing the stream on my phone so I can watch it. Although it's still going to be behind by a little bit, but if you lag out again, at least I'll be able to see it that way.
Yeah, I'm sorry for the inconvenience.
No, you're good. Don't worry. At least you still wanted to participate, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
Ragged scene that runs throughout democracy as a whole.
Yeah. I don't know enough about Japanese culture to really make a point about any of this, but I'm pretty sure that Independence Day, was that the one with the director? What was his name? Was it Roland Emmerich? I knew it. Yeah. Yeah, I was about to say, like, comparing Shin Godzilla to a Roland Emmerich movie, really?
Mm-hmm. It's not really a fair comparison at all.
Especially because Roland Emmerich is not the kind of director that would make a good movie. He makes movies that he thinks are good, which is a completely different argument considering his standards. I mean, we have 98, we have 2012, we have Moonfall. Remember Moonfall? I bet you don't, because I don't think anybody here watched it.
I really liked all those movies. I think they're pretty good.
Of course you'd think that.
Of course you'd think. I mean, I enjoyed 2012. Like, I thought it was a fun movie, but like...
Out of like all his films, I'd probably say Independence Day is my favorite out of them.
Yeah, like, I mean, there are some Roland Emmerich movies I enjoy, but writing-wise, yeah. Nah, he cannot write himself out of a box. He's like the holy trinity of action film directors. You got what's his face? Michael Bay
over over Emmerich, in my opinion.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, Michael Bay does have like the rule of cool, whereas Roland Emmerich has the rule of what he thinks is cool, but is actually kind of cringe.
Or actually, I would probably also say like I like Independence Day for what it is, although I also don't think it's the best film either.
Yeah, like Michael Bay, what's his name? Okay, Roland Emmerich and Zack Snyder. I feel like he's on a different tier now. He's like on the level of like J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson, but his films are like
Ryan, no, you can't compare to Ryan. But I will say that it does really feel like what's his name? Snyder like has gone like super into the delusional camp, in my opinion.
Yeah. It's funny because like the more freedom you give Snyder, the worse his movies become.
Mm-hmm. And like I really wanted to like Rebel Moon. I really did. But
dude, I was hoping for the film to be good, but I kept my expectations in check, and they were met because they were extremely low. I had a ton of fun with the first two Rebel Moon movies, although I will admit Rebel Moon Part 2 gave me a headache. I had
the second one. I refused.
I had to stop the movie a couple times because I was laughing so hard at just how absurd, dude. The spaceships run on coal, and they have an interdimensional god in the engine room, and yet somehow the spaceships run on coal. Yeah, let that sink in. Just let that sink in.
No, I don't want that to sink in. That's just
that has to be like this
for imparting this knowledge to me.
Hey, shut up. This is Snyder's vision. How dare you? This is Snyder's vision.
And perhaps I've treated you too harshly.
No, you should see the rest of the movie.
No,
it's a cinematic masterpiece. Snyder's vision. No, Zim, you have to understand, like, the director's cut will fix everything.
No.
I'm such an odd one out because I really like all of the directors and movies you guys are dissing on right now.
No, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, Zack Snyder is like one of my favorite directors, but it has nothing to do with the writing quality of his movies. It has nothing to do with it. It's mainly because, okay, so like Watchmen is probably one of his better movies, but the only reason that movie is any good is because he's adapting the comic 1-to-1. Like, so any merit that the movie has can be attributed directly to the comic and not the movie itself. Because even then, like, the whole point of the Watchmen comic is like, you know, the costumes are ridiculous, and a lot of it is just erotic fantasy, specifically with Silk Spectre and Night Owl. Rorschach is psychotic and he's manifesting his psychosis via a persona that he invented for himself. And Ozymandias is a brand, and the comedian, I forgot what he was supposed to be. And Dr. Manhattan, he doesn't even wear a costume. Like, he's pretty much God, like capital G God.
It's like
So
literally, I'll be honest with you. I think Alan Moore's a hack, and Watchmen has become less and less interesting to me as I've gotten older.
I mean, Doomsday Clock. I've heard some things about Doomsday Clock. I haven't read Doomsday.
Yeah, that's even worse.
Yeah, no, I figured, but like the original comic, I guess it was pretty. It was fine. It was fine. You know, it was really probably one of the, like, when I first read it, when I first read Watchmen, I was like, huh, I've never seen superheroes be interpreted this way. I find it really interesting. I mean, it's kind of bleak, bittersweet, you know. But yeah, at least
I do not know about Stonewall at all, so I cannot comment. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and then there's 300.
Stonewall? I've heard it was pretty bad, or at least not in a not accurate to the historical stuff way.
Is it about Stonewall Jackson?
I think it was like a gay rights thing.
Oh. I've never seen it, no context for it. But
there's 300. 300 is probably one of his better movies.
Yeah,
but again,
at least was pretty close to the comic, which I appreciate.
Yeah, but then that's a lot of it. You know, stylistically, like it's very similar to the comic, and you can appreciate that. But on a storytelling perspective, the credit mainly goes to the fact that he's adapting the comic 1-to-1, because that's the type of comic that Zack Snyder would want to adapt. Like, if Seth Rogen didn't pick up The Boys, then Zack Snyder would take a crack at it if he discovered The Boys. If not, then he would take a crack at Invincible as well. Thank God he didn't, but you know, he would have, because that seems like something that's right up his alley, because you know, he grew up.
He adapts the stories well.
300, yes. Watchmen, I'm 50-50 on it, considering that he kind of misses the point, because the whole point of Watchmen is that the people dressing up as superheroes look ridiculous, whereas in the movie he makes them look super cool and badass. And I mean, it looks cool and it looks badass, but that's not the point of the comic. So I'm kind of 50-50 on that. But then there's Batman v Superman, where he wanted to adapt The Dark Knight Returns, but he absolutely failed because he did not understand why Batman in that comic kills in the first place. Because in BVS, it's, if there's even a 1% chance Superman is our enemy. First of all, I mean, the worst part about it is that not only is Batman wrong, but at the same time, Superman kind of proves his point, because Superman in the last movie, in Man of Steel, was just so incompetent at his job that he helped. Not only did he help cause multiple 9/11s at the same time in Metropolis, but he also just committed genocide. Like, people don't acknowledge this, but when he said, "Oh, Krypton had his chance and lasered all the babies," regardless of what the outcome might have been, that is still genocide. He killed several hundreds of babies that belonged to his own race. He pretty much exterminated the Kryptonian race single-handedly. He is a genocidal maniac. So he kind of proves Batman right, even though he is wrong, because his logic can be applied to him. Like, okay, well, there's a 1% chance you could turn against humanity. Should we kill you? And obviously, no, but that wouldn't apply to him, because he's like one of the main protagonists. You can't kill that guy, right? And so, like, his logic falls apart. But I mean, it makes sense in how much it doesn't make sense, which is something I can't say for a lot of directors, which is a unique talent that Zack Snyder has, where his stories are so stupid that it makes sense in how stupid it is, which is like a new tier of stupidity that I don't think anybody should ever achieve, which is why it makes his movies so goddamn hilarious to watch. And I love them dearly. I love them.
Yeah, no, like, I haven't watched Man of Steel in a long time, so I honestly cannot say.
I'm still stuck on the fact that he commits genocide. Like, not like I want you guys to like really take that in. Superman, a paragon of hope, justice in the American way, a man who is human in all the ways that matter, committing genocide and still supposed to be seen as that type of character.
Mm-hmm. As well as like the whole idea of the Helix, I've never liked. Plus, like, I know that the Kryptonian caste system was something that was carried on from other like other interpretations of the character, but like I've never liked it.
Yeah, it kind of removes his individuality in a sense.
Mm-hmm. But continuing on.
Constitution effectively halts all relief efforts, parts-blind adherence to the ill-informed decisions of authority figures. The message here is inefficiency as the ragged seam that runs throughout democracy as a whole. This is in no way a solely Japanese problem. Pick any democratic nation on Earth, and it's positively rife with this sort of buffoonery.
All sorts of things that are actually very likely are also unforeseeable. For the plane in the fog, the mountain is unforeseeable, but then it is suddenly very real and inevitable.
What's stranger than fiction, this institutional inertia is its basis in a very Japanese quirk. For approximately 66 of the last 72 years, Japan has pretty much existed under one political party. With so little differentiation or bipartisan back and forth, it's led to a stagnant, homogenized sense of perspective. Everyone here is so determined to pass the buck or wrap the whole thing up in convoluted red tape that by the time they summon the nerve to address that, yes, a kaiju exists and is heading for land, they waste valuable minutes bickering about whether or not its legs work.
Yeah, well, that's pretty logical, considering all the conventions that they understand. Just because a kaiju exists does not necessarily mean that the kaiju would be able to come onto land. So them quabbling about that makes sense, as well as the logical thing to do. So, given the situation, that's really weird for him to say is like a bad thing.
These early scenes of humming and hawing are absurd and outright hilarious. And that's before you remember all these committees and meetings are about Godzilla. Beyond the proverbial gigantic lad in the room.
I think that if you think that, like, one sec.
And that's before you remember all these committees and meetings are about Godzilla.
Yeah, because Godzilla is a threat, and if you don't think that in a world where Godzilla exists, they wouldn't have these kinds of things happening, or think that that's silly, then maybe you can't actually take Godzilla seriously. And the only reason why you're talking about this with Shin Godzilla is because it has some kind of political thing that you agree with.
Hideki Anno directed Evangelion, therefore Shin is like Evangelion, therefore Shin is deep.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond the proverbial gigantic lad in the room, the boundaries of outright satire are tested as the real-life power is unfortunately apparent within this unfolding farce. Shin Godzilla acts as a blunt indictment of the same departmental inactions that led to untold pandemonium and a complete failure to effectively respond following the 2011 Fukushima Daiichi nuclear disaster. Moving beyond the specific example,
I know that like technically it's an anti-Shin video, but if anyone checks out C Animus's stuff on Shin Godzilla: The Fractured Diamond, he goes into a little bit more research about how necessarily Shin satire isn't the best in terms of comparison between the Fukushima disaster, but I did not get as much time to do some research on that for today's stream, but I want to at least shout out a friend who did for a video.
The whole film serves to underscore how unwieldy bureaucratic bodies tend to react to mishandling. Problems are needlessly exacerbated by indecision, while science and coherent thought are often the final resort following some futile display of military might. Again, the impotence displayed by the Japanese Defense Force is tied to very real questions as to their purpose and effectiveness in times of crisis. Japan's constitution, penned by the United States in the wake of World War II, explicitly prohibits any standing army, except for the SDF. Now, the SDF are severely restricted in what they can and can't do. Their inability to act here comes down to a failure of imagination on the part of everyone who defines their rules of engagement. Nothing about this situation is clear, and the aggressor is neither external nor of any particular nation. While the various branches of government...
Well, it is external, but just not of a particular nation.
Defense are shown distant and dawdling, the victims are thrust into the fray. Ground-level shaky-handed cell phone footage as they fend for themselves. A stark contrast to the measured errands taken at escort interiors and rambling digressions from net pursuits.
But it's interesting that he mentions this, but then doesn't show the scene where they reason why they don't shoot and try to kill Shin Godzilla there is because they don't want to endanger the civilians more. But, okay.
Shin Godzilla's aim is to the one stricken down warped policies and preservation of the natural world.
Right now, Sonic shakes are happy.
It's an ad for Sonic, isn't it?
Yep.
I find it really, really frustrating that we have 2 Sonic movies and none of them made a collab with that restaurant.
Yeah, I'm surprised. And I think Sonic does do chili dog stuff too, so that's even more surprising.
I should eat a chili dog one of these days.
You have to take a closer look at the Japanese culture of construction, industrialization, and reshaping the natural.
One sec. Let me go back a little bit.
Fast consumption and short-term gain over the protection and preservation of the natural world. To understand the seemingly blasé response to untold ruin on display here, you have to take a closer look at the Japanese culture of construction, industrialization, and reshaping the natural world to better suit human design. A key phrase that crops up time and again following in the rubble of Godzilla's warpath is scrap and rebuild. What may seem like rough and ready gumption or an optimistic coping mechanism following a tragedy actually goes much deeper than that. Throughout the majority of the Western world, personal property and home ownership are seen not only as a shrewd investment, but as a totem of our working efforts. In Japan, this isn't really the case. As explored by both the Guardian newspaper and the writings of Alex Kerr, Japanese homes hemorrhage their initial value with each year following their construction. After a few decades, or by the time the property would typically change hands from one owner to the next, only the land itself maintains any monetary worth, meaning that more often than not, the existing property is scrapped and rebuilt. Hence why everyone here just seems to shrug off skyscrapers falling to the ground. This attitude—
They don't shrug it off. They literally talk about the economy being in free fall because of this. So the only reason why they're able to do this is because they are doing a last-ditch effort. That's just why they didn't try this in the first place. What are you talking about?
I think what he means is doing something like how Gamma did it, where the prices of food started to increase. Getting scenes where people are trying to buy food, but the food is really expensive. Maybe that's what he means.
No, because what he says is
change hands from homes hemorrhage their initial value with each year following their construction. After a few decades, or by the time the property would typically change hands from one owner to the next, only the land itself maintains any monetary worth, meaning that more often than not, existing property is scrapped and rebuilt. Hence why everyone here just seems to shrug off skyscrapers falling to the ground.
No, what he's saying is that because of his analysis of Japanese homeownership in The Guardian, he's inferring that that's why people don't really care about the buildings falling here in this scene in Shin Godzilla, or in Shin Godzilla in general, and why it relates to the scrap and rebuild line that you hear throughout the film, when I don't think that's necessarily accurate. And throughout the film, and at least the process, like from scene to scene, we see that the only reason why this scene's attempted in the first place is because it's the last-ditch effort. And we've already gotten context clues as to the state Japan's in, and they have to solve the issue regardless. So,
I don't know enough about Japan.
F29, when he says I get a lot of Sonic ads. What's interesting is that the closest Sonic to me is still pretty far.
Over from the rapid and somewhat ramshackle rebuilding of Japan following World War II, as well as the ever-changing structural requirements of new properties based on earthquake readiness. While it's refreshing to see the non-plot response to untold havoc contextualized in a monster movie, here it alludes to a much more disturbing idiosyncrasy of Japanese politics. The idea that anything that impedes innovation and human endeavor is the enemy, even nature itself. In her book Dogs and Demons, Alex Kerr writes, "There's an unstoppable extremism at work that is reminiscent of Japan's military build-up before World War II. Nature, which wreaks havoc on Japan, is the enemy, with rivers in particular seen as the true bane of Japanese life, and all the forces of the modern state are made to focus on eradicating nature's threats." Even more disturbing. While it's refreshing to see the nonplussed response to as well as the ever-changing of skyscrapers falling to the ground, this attitude is a holdover from the rapid and somewhat ramshackle rebuilding of Japan following World War II, as well as the ever-changing structural requirements of new properties based on earthquake readiness. While it's refreshing to see the nonplussed response to untold havoc contextualized in a monster movie, here it alludes to a much more disturbing idiosyncrasy of Japanese politics. The idea that anything that impedes innovation and human endeavor is the enemy, even nature itself.
What are you talking about? Literally, they have to worry about earthquakes hitting them all the time because of where they're at. That's not bad. People want to live, and people don't want to literally have to worry about either dying in their sleep or coming back to see all their shit destroyed. That's so stupid.
No, you see, the Japanese are suicidal. A bunch of people there are just working in Temu factories, creating shitty articles, and they want to kill themselves. Don't you see? It's a stereotype.
That's so, because this analysis is so bad. Why is this so bad? I swear.
Wait, what's the title of the video?
Godzilla redefining a monster. So he's essentially saying that Shin Godzilla redefined Godzilla.
No, it didn't. I mean, he's kind of a more
a revitalized Godzilla. I wouldn't say redefined Godzilla.
Yeah, no, Godzilla means the exact same thing as what he's always meant. It's just that it's contextualized in a modern day setting.
In her book Dogs and Demons, Alex Kerr writes, "There's an unstoppable extremism at work that is reminiscent of Japan's military build-up before World War II. Nature, which wreaks havoc on Japan, is the enemy, with rivers in particular seen as the true bane of Japanese life, and all the forces of the modern state are made to focus on eradicating nature's threats. Shin Godzilla may show us a country burnt to ash and bulldozed to nothing, but to the minds of those in power, this brings the opportunity of employment, construction contracts, rezoning, and further expansion over once naturally occupied terrain. This isn't even
They don't even mention that in the film. It's really only later on afterwards, and they are also talking about that in the context of a more open and less bureaucratic Japan.
First film of the genre to make this point. Bong Joon-ho's The Host boils over with righteous indignance towards military failings and environmental oversights.
That's a Korean film. That's not even a Godzilla film. Why are you bringing up The Host?
No, you see, the reason why is because all Asians look the same.
This is
that's what it kind of feels like.
Bong Joon-ho's The Host boils over with righteous indignance towards military failings and environmental oversight. Even the Godzilla franchise has taken a crack at this before, albeit much less subtly with 1971's Godzilla vs. Ghidorah.
Every time that someone wants to bring up a Godzilla film saying something, I always bring up Hedorah. Oh my
The
goodness,
villain
stop.
is an extraterrestrial that feeds on Earth's pollution. There's a lot of silliness. It ends with Godzilla giving humanity the stink eye because he's mad about industrialization.
It's pollution, not industrialization or human innovation.
Obviously, it's bad, but it's also kind of great. Godzilla isn't a weapon of mass destruction with an agenda or impetus beyond their instincts. They're a natural disaster, and one that stands as a reckoning. While the atomic age skepticism and fear of radioactive Armageddon are present and accounted for, we're now living in a world where mankind's daily eradication of flora, fauna, and resources vastly exceeds even the most outlandish expectations of our 1950s forebearers. As much as the atypical weather patterns of the day after tomorrow, or suicide virus unleashed on humanity in The Happening, Godzilla is both a product of and reaction to the erosion of our global biome, a disregard that is signed off on and rubber-stamped by increasingly out-of-touch political and policy-making institutions. Shin Godzilla is the antidote to the toothless and brain-meltingly stupid American iterations on the eponymous beast. Beyond the political science that slowly seems to eat itself, and the art of war
I have to know, like, what is his... This feels very politically charged. I can't help but think that he might actually have something against America's...
Yeah, no, that's exactly the point.
Yeah, I feel like he's the type of person to say, capitalism is one bad thing.
Mm-hmm. No,
he seems like that kind of person, because Shin Godzilla made it explicitly clear that the reason why things happened the way they did is because of the government being incompetent at its job. I think he's reading it way too deep into this. I don't think there's much else. I mean, there's definitely more that could be extracted from Shin Godzilla, but not to this autistic extent.
Mm-hmm.
Environmentalists, this is a simple cautionary tale. You cannot obliterate an idea with physical force. You won't repel the rising tide by assigning a subcommittee to it. To continue acting...
Tell that to Hitler.
Well, it's also the fact, too, is that, like, it's inaction that causes Godzilla to be the way it is. It's direct action that needs to be taken. But, like...
Wait, he mentioned environmentalism. What did he mean by that specifically?
I think probably the only thing that he's trying to say is that because Godzilla was mutated by the nuclear dumping, that Godzilla is a product of our disregard for the environment. That'd be the closest thing I could say that he's probably referring to.
Oh, okay, no, because if he said something, more than that, I would probably be upset, because I have a really big bone to pick with environmentalism as a philosophy. I mean, it's incredibly flawed.
Or the fact that environmentalism is what kept like nuclear energy back for so long.
Yeah, like I have to wonder, like, where does the money go when you donate for something like global warming? What do they do with it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I feel like not a lot of people have asked that question. Like, you hear about it in schools over and over again. People tell you, "Oh, the Earth is warming up. Oh, we have to do something about it. The world is ending because of global warming. Give me your money, and we'll fund things that will help save it." And all we create are solar panels and wind turbines that don't work as well as something like coal or nuclear power.
Well, it's like funny is like, if we say, like, sure, coal isn't the best for the environment, then nuclear power is, but then, like, there's always, like, big hubbubs about, like, oh, nuclear power is dangerous, when it's really not. And almost all the examples of, like, nuclear power plant disasters are always because of some human error or incompetence from government bodies. But
nuclear power is like a gun. If wielded by an idiot, it becomes dangerous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Is to sentence us all to desolation and debris. All of this has been here since 1954, when Godzilla first made a break for dry land. Nearly 70 years of political barricades and governmental posturing later, and the kaiju is still at the door. The only difference is we're inviting them in.
No, because just because 54 happened and Godzilla is that doesn't mean there's that direct carry through. That feels like it was trying to be profound, but it really isn't.
It sounds like a typical video essayist to me. A lot of video essayists will try and make you. They'll try and sound profound when all they did is either say absolutely nothing at all or say something that's completely wrong.
Exactly. Yeah. Like that literally was a vapid nothing burger of a statement.
Yeah. This is why, like, I've made video essays in the past, but I don't like doing them. Like, I have like one or two more that I have to make, but like I don't like doing them because I feel like they don't cover as much things as you would in a much longer video. And on top of that, like finding meaningful things to say. I wouldn't say that it's hard, but it would require a lot more time, so trying to condense it into like a 10-20 minute video is rather difficult.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's why, my videos take so long to make, because I'm trying to find the best way to say what it is I have to say in the most coherent way possible, while also being correct about the information I'm presenting. So like I don't like, this is why I try to avoid making video essays, but if I feel like really feel like I need to say this like without a shadow of a doubt, then I'll make it. That's why I have like 2 or 3, because my first Godzilla video, the No Sympathy for the Monsters, which was a bit of a short rant, and then the Demand Better video, the No We Can't Have Both. Those 3, I mean, those 3 are things that could have been said on a black screen episode, but video essays are more accessible as well. So, like, from a purely from a business standpoint, it's more economic to make a video essay because, well, people don't have the attention span to watch an hour-long video, discussing and analyzing. It's just not in them.
Yeah, exactly. Any thoughts for you, Vic, or no?
No, I'm pretty good. I agree with your guys' points on that.
But like, this is exactly why I wanted to say that. Like, I know I've been criticizing a lot of people for using the word tourist, but I think this is where it's definitely accurate, because it's not even like this was a pretty accurate summation of the points presented by by the film. This literally just feels like, oh, I there's maybe some things that I like politically about this. I'm now going to give my stance on it, which feels exceptionally dishonest. But what can you do? I could sit through a 6-hour video essays. I mean, I could too, but like that was awful. But as I knock over my phone, it comes to that time where the stream has to end, and it's 2 a.m. I want to thank obviously Black and Vic for coming on as always, and for Minecraft World and Sea Monsters for being on as well. We do some patented shilling as always. Black, do you want to shill first for us, good sir?
Oh yeah, but like before the shilling, I actually had a point to make in regards to the previous interview with the other directors, because I think I've heard someone mention that a lot of these directors wanted to make these movies, different movies and exploring different things. So my first point is, clearly these directors don't want to make a movie that is just giant monsters fighting, which is the complete antithesis of what the fandom is saying. So like the directors clearly do want to tell interesting stories with good proper character writing, and character writing not just for the humans but for the monsters. However, the fan base doesn't seem to share that sentiment, which I find really interesting, that disconnect. The second thing I want to mention is that the only people that I would want to return for the Monsterverse are Gareth and Vought Robbers, because those two are the only ones that have a semblance of knowledge on what they're talking about and what they're doing. Wingard and Doherty have no idea how to write anything. like especially Wingard. I mean, I could make the argument that at least Doherty made the effort. Like he tried. He definitely did try. Whereas Wingard did not at all. He did the bare minimum, the absolute bare minimum, and even at that, he failed in some cases. So, and another thing, this is something Minecraft World said: hiring multiple directors to direct more Godzilla movies specifically for the MonsterVerse will turn it less and less into a linear continuity and more of an anthology. So we'll have the Millennium Era all over again, which is, I mean, the movies individually can be good, but at that point, the MonsterVerse, like it'll be all over the place. You know, it'll be completely disorganized. You know, we'll have to create an Elseworld type. You know how James Gunn is doing the Elseworlds thing with DC. We'll have to create a whole thing with that and the MonsterVerse, should that ever happen. And it'll be just very tedious to follow, very tedious to organize, and it'll cost a lot more money that could be better invested in just hiring better writers to make movies that fix all the problems that are present in the MonsterVerse, at least to an extent. I think some of the problems in the MonsterVerse cannot be fixed, such as the Hollow Earth. Like, once you introduced it, like, there's no going back. Like, the Hollow Earth is in itself a problem. Like, its very existence is a problem, but there's no going back from it now. Like, you're stuck. We're stuck with the Hollow Earth. But yeah, no, hiring different directors instead of just sticking with what works and kicking out what doesn't is a very, very, very bad idea. And lastly, fuck Adam Wingard. I hate him. I hate what he's done to my boy Godzilla.
I know Schilling know nothing about the channel or the longmens that we are expecting, sir.
Oh yes. Monarch Video. Kate Rand does character analysis. I am almost done. I just need to finish the last 10 minutes of the video and record some extra lines because there's some stuff that I missed. But yeah, it is almost complete. I might finish it in like a week or two, maybe a third extra week. And hopefully there's a black screen episode on Sunday, because on Sunday I'm watching Dune Part 2 again for the third time in theaters. And maybe there's a black screen episode before that happens, but if not, oh well. And lastly, I would like to thank anybody in the audience that's from the channel for getting me to 100 subscribers. Thank you. And also, if you guys want me to make more videos making fun of the Godzilla fandom, then sure, why not? I mean, there's plenty to make fun of. They're not exactly the brightest chainsaw in the kitchen. But yeah, that's about it. Like and subscribe. I have a Godzilla short story on my Patreon. You can, it's for $1 a month. That's like, I don't know how much rent costs in the US right now, but it's pretty cheap. So yeah, check it out.
There we go. And Vic?
As always, you can find me as Vic Monstrous on Twitter. My commissions are open. Currently working on writing some short stories and getting some videos out, hopefully. Follow me on Kaijunaut on YouTube. I have some Godzilla 98 behind the scenes interviews, as well as some Kaiju related topic videos. So you can find me there.
Awesome. And then you can find me, Zimzilla99, almost anywhere, except just do the OG _ on Twitter, number 7775 on Discord. And check the link in the description if you want to grab some energy drinks. Use my referral link and the code Kaiju2K, all lowercase, to get some discounts there. But as always, guys, thank you for joining us. And I am Zimzilla, and I will see you guys all next time.